Hello everyone, Connor here. Just as a small disclaimer, some things we may talk about on the pod shouldn't be attempted or recreated. Remember to keep everything legal, keep it between the ages, and don't tear up the ground while you're on the pull. Hello, what's the crack everyone? You're not listening to Agri Out of Moog podcast. You're listening to the Felt Spec podcast by Diff Games.
I know what you're getting at here.
Where we talk all things that go round the cone. I'm Connor, the quieter one, not at the minute. And this is the Wish Dave, aka Michael.
Is this because someone commented that on TikTok about me?
Well,
you're a prick.
on the pod this week or this fortnight, we're going to debate: is it okay to call a Sierra Doc a twin cam? Also, we discuss: does Michael really need ratchet straps to keep the arms down? Because they never fucking stay down.
You're a prick.
All this and more to be found out in this episode.
Well played. Well played.
And yes, I've had to read that out because did I remember any of it? No. Do I normally remember what I'm meant to say? No.
So
but anyway,
I'll kick in then with the original intro, which I've never actually done before. Hello, folks.
Do you need me to show you for you to be able to?
Actually, hello, folks. Welcome to the Agri Automotive Podcast by Limited Slip Differences. I am the loud one, actually, Michael Scullin, and beside me is...
I'm Connor.
Yep.
And yes, I'm obviously the quieter one.
Yes. So, we're on episode 43 of the podcast.
I actually don't know something because...
You forgot that too, didn't you?
Well, maybe. How long are we saying? So, basically, in my wee notes thing, I had to put down EP 43/44. I don't actually know.
That's because we've been banking our guests as well with the way we've been doing the recordings. It kind of throws everything off a wee bit, especially as our last podcast was supposed to be Fitzfab. But then whenever the whole thing of King of the Rings come up and we were doing all the promotional work, obviously, had to bring Seamus in. So it kind of
we'll
threw
reiterate
everything.
that. You have done a lot more promotional work for it than I have, but...
Yeah, well, I kind of maybe went and took matters into my own hands a wee bit there with that sort of stuff, but I probably should have asked you to come to Granard one
I
way.
have to laugh. So if anybody wants a wee bit of context, this story. So basically...
It paints me in such a bad light, honestly.
Not even, no. So like, do you know the way this one time Michael wasn't feeling well for a day and he put a video up, and then I was enjoying a wee tin of cider in my house and I looked down at him, I went, holy fuck, I better ring or message this man to see if he's okay, because you know what, it's alright to not be okay and you have to be there as a friend at times. But then I seen this other video and he was in Granard and I was like, who the fuck was my invite? But
and the worst bit was you were with me for 4 or 5 hours the night before, and I never even remembered to say anything about it. I never said no, and it wasn't like I was even hiding it. It just literally was. It just never come up. We were having such good conversation. We were actually having DMCs. To be fair,
what was DMCs mean?
Deep meaningful conversations.
Okay, right. That's a new thing I've learned.
You don't know what a DMC is?
You've taught me digressing, and you've now taught me DMC.
You've never heard of a DMC?
No, we just call it deep meaningful conversations.
Okay, well, anyway.
Maybe I'm just not... maybe you're just we're more with the cool kids.
You're
and
just
I'm not.
Demure? Is that the new word kids are using or something?
Don't really get that.
No, very demure, something like that.
So, I was in TikTok and...
You see me come up again, just went, what the fuck's he doing there?
Well, there's that too. But the whole demure thing, like, I was in TikTok and seen somebody giving out, basically, this is a load of shite. And I was like, the fuck? Because my TikTok is Michael's rambles and cars and tractors. You know, and the odd person attempting to do a dance. But then I went on and it was, this is, is your Sierra very demure?
What does demure mean? Demure means like ladylike or something, doesn't it? Or like... should be seen and not heard.
Oh, then you've clearly read into this because I hadn't a clue.
Oh, I looked it up. No, I have the memory of a fish when it comes to words. Numbers, deadly. Music tunes, deadly memory for that. Words, no, not a notion. So, but I think it means something like ladylike or something like 50's house wave kind of should be...
Right. I don't think this podcast is very demure.
I don't think so either.
Considering we're freezing the balls off.
Yep.
Again.
We're fairly...
The weather's done. The weather is
Hi,
done.
you're not fucking joking. Literally.
Well, it's literally... So, my expensive weather app is telling me it's dry, and then it rains, and I'm like, I just wasted money.
It was, see, the 31st of August was the day of the BRM tractor pull, and I'll get onto that in a bit. But it was...
When did we last record?
Oh, like 2.5 weeks ago. We recorded it right. Yeah,
it definitely feels it.
We recorded it right a while ago. Like the BRM tractor pull, like it was a class day. That was the Saturday, 31st of August. The 1st of September, shite, cold, wet, windy, and I was like, I've never seen a more definite split of summer turning into autumn.
To be fair, I'm no bar best, nor do I claim to be the wish version of bar best, but apparently there's a build of high pressure building for this weekend, so there's a possibility that it might be dry-ish.
I just thought, well, I know tomorrow's meant to be shit, so maybe it's going to try and get the thing through. It'd be good if we could get good weather for Granard, although
if when you're listening to this, Granard will unfortunately be over.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody went and enjoyed themselves.
But look, well, maybe just before we properly kick into the podcast, I guess I do want to try and maybe address something here. So
to put it even slightly lightly, a tragic event there happened last Friday.
Yeah.
Michael and a lot of people that are into rear wheel drives in the country. And basically anybody that really sort of follows King of the Cone or has Sierras or basically any rear steer will an extremely well known fella.
Yeah.
Unfortunately moved on.
Yeah. Look, if you don't know by now, but you obviously do, and I didn't originally know whether I was going to really talk about this on the pod because, one, it's kind of hard, and two,
well, it's showing your vulnerability at the same time.
I know, but I didn't want people thinking I was trying to capitalise on it, but the reality is, having spoke to, we were standing at the Way Clearance Sunday night, and it was me, amongst others, but at that point in time it was Abigail Martin, Gary Kerrigan and Owen McGuckin and Becca, and we were all standing, and Gary said to me, he goes, I think this is maybe something you should put in the pod. So I said, no bother, that'll do. And so heard Friday night, Kieran Murphy gave me a call that Archie had, well, he just wasn't with us anymore.
He had moved on, unfortunately.
He had moved on, and it took me as a shock because Archie was, amongst being an absolute gobshite and an absolute fucking slabber, he was a friend. And he was a good friend. He looked after me when it come to the Sierras and stuff. And I've known him a long time, and I know there's listeners who'll know him longer. And but I suppose no one knew anything about this.
Well, that was the main thing.
Well, I say no one knew. I'm sure maybe there's people closer to him. I'm not going to turn around and say Archie was one of my best friends. He wasn't, but he was a good friend. We've been in the same clubs, if I was in an event and he was there, he was the lad I was standing with, or kind of within that group, so, and, had a lot of banter together. As I said, we're in a lot of group chats, we'd be talking regularly. He was in the yard with us about a month ago. The night he came down and left that 2-litre twin cam engine. The bit about that was, he was saying, I'm building a hatch, and basically, to cut a short story long, I have my drift build. I actually bought that off Archie, and the deal was typical Archie fashion. I got the fucking raw end of the deal, and I got the car for cheap. And I say cheap, I think I overpaid for it, but in today's money I probably didn't. But the deal was I had to remove the engine and the box and the diff and all that shit. And Archie was coming in and collecting it in drips and drabs, and I wasn't that arsed about it being there. He knew where I lived, and I wasn't going to do him over and anything so. But anyway, the engine was the last piece of the puzzle, apart from one or two bits which I still have kind of begrudgingly at this point. But when he was chatting about this Sierra hatch he was for building, and he was down and we were cracking away, and he was just himself. He didn't seem There was nothing strange about him. Now, I know from hearing things there's a wee of other things going on behind the scenes that I maybe just wouldn't have been as privy to, but like
well, like, sure, that evening you told me that Archie was landing down, and I suppose, like, very briefly, I had met him before in the port whenever you were chatting to him, and I suppose, like, a lot of times whenever somebody's sort of landing down, I like to land down, but I suppose especially with him landing down, I thought, no, I'll get down for a bit of crack and actually meet the fella. And it's one thing whenever you meet somebody sort of in their own and all that crack, and you have a bit of crack and banter with him. But like, it was, knowing now, it was a pleasure to have actually met him and have a bit of crack with him and that.
Genuinely, and this sounds, I give off like blue fuck about the carry-on he was at sometimes with like how reckless he could be, but I genuinely did idolise Archie a bit, because he was one of the men that single-handedly brought Sierras from being kind of the wreckabout till kind of he probably more or less single-handedly drove the prices up. And like I did like, you know, even from whenever he first got MNK and even the ones before that, you know, like, you know, I would have been around the place back and forward, and you know, like, was chatting to him and, you know, hearing his stories and being in the shed, and he said, oh, I've done this and I had that and this happened and that happened, and just even the crack, like, and you know, it was, although I was kind of like, you're an absolute menace at times, like, I was also just like, I just fucking wish I just had that same lack of caring as you do, you know, because he just was so, it's just like you remember, you were there, it was Donegal Rally last year, and like we were outside Kiernan's on the Letterkenny Road between Derry and he just started fucking throwing hoops in the middle of the road. Like,
he drove up the road, and I think there was maybe a wee bit of a queue or something. The traffic wasn't going too fast anyway.
I had the phone
out. Let's just say he's seen private signs everywhere. Michael ran out, went, holy fuck, there's Archie. And Archie,
sure, well, we've been chatting to him anyway inside I've been chatting to him anyway inside the shop, but
everything went private, and
he's just like, but I suppose the real, what I'm trying to take away from this is, look, Archie's funeral was yesterday, and for a lot of us, like, it was very, very tough. I'm glad to say, or not glad, that's the wrong word, proud to say that I got a chance of carrying the coffin. I was carrying the coffin, me and Owen McGuckin were together carrying the coffin whenever Kyle started kicking it around in the road, and that was, I just broke. I mean, I broke many times. I don't cry. Like, you'd never see me cry, like, but I have fucking broke more times this weekend. And as I said, and it was actually Becca that said the words to me, she was like, I think a lot of those people who are crying over the likes of this, a lot of us are crying tears for ourselves, because a lot of us do struggle with mental health. And look, this isn't the Michael Scullin podcast, although ironically it probably is a bit, but you know, like, we all do struggle. Like, I'll just probably make it a bit clear, like, Connor, whenever we did that Christmas episode, you know, the one where we talked about it being sick, and you were saying there was that wee fella had lost his life, remember, and that hit you particularly hard, and you only admitted to me after about how hard that hit you.
Well, it's, I suppose, like anything, there's everybody, regardless of their walk of life, has all got their own struggles, whether they find them big or don't find them big. Whether some people say basically that they're small, they're obviously struggles for themselves.
I know, but it is difficult to talk about. And as you say, like, we all, and you admitted to me at the time, like, we all get intrusive thoughts, and you get them, I get them. Like, I'm no stranger to it, like, you're not either. And to be fair, a lot of, like, our friends are no stranger to it either, to bad mental health. You know, a lot of us mask. Like, you know, I wouldn't typically show vulnerability or anything like that, because, well, why would I? I just always try to keep a brave face and move on. But unfortunately, it's like the likes of that is what Archie did. And as I say, like, you know, when we heard the news, everybody was just like, what the fuck? Because we just, as I said, as time went on, there's a few things maybe come to light, but even at that, like, you never would have thought anything of it, or at least I didn't, maybe being a wee bit further away from it all. But I suppose, really, I don't want to, well, as I say, it's difficult to talk about, but
nobody knows what your struggles are.
It's one of the things that we don't talk about, and then we're talking about it when it's too late. And maybe this is something we have to do to educate ourselves. And like, I'm no mental health social worker. I'm not trained to talk about this kind of stuff. But asking the tough questions may seem like something we shouldn't be doing, but maybe that is something we should be doing. And along with that, you know, just being there for people. Like, everybody knows that. I don't want to try and tell people how to suck eggs. Like, you know, everybody says the door's open, have a chat. Look, we all know to do that. So just look, well, what I'm going to say is, just keep doing that and just keep looking after people. And I definitely know this weekend, you know, there's a lot of us kind of all to and fro and messaging each other and just ringing each other and going like, how are you feeling now and all. And I suppose it's just a matter of us keeping doing that, you know. Again, I want to finish off with a couple of wee things here. You know, people might already know this, but if you don't, there's places you can go to get help. You can actually get online training on mental health, and I think I'm actually going to take it. There's a website called Zero Suicide Alliance, and it's free online training for the likes of this, and that's actually something I'm going to do anyway. Just something I want to do anyway. You know, there's I'm not going to sit and read everything out, but there's the suicide warning signs is on the NHS website. There's the likes of Aware NI. They're a very, very big charity in the north here. They look after a lot of that. There's a lot of support groups for people that are struggling and people that are kind of what, like, you know, people seeing the aftermath and all that. Aware NI is there. There's also Get Self-Help, and there's Action Mental Health. You know, there's Mind in Your Head. There's the Samaritans. There's a lot of places. There's a lot of places to reach out to if you are struggling, and I can't make you do that, unfortunately. If you are struggling, but I suppose just take it from any of us. Like, as I say, we buried Archie yesterday. I mean, Dungiven got absolutely wrecked in his honour, but the sad reality is none of us wish we were doing it at all.
No, of course.
So
at the end of the day, even if you are in a position where you're struggling and you're not sure what quite to do, and please most definitely speak to somebody. And it is totally true. Some people obviously have a gift of being able to do it a lot easier than other people. Yeah. And like a problem told is a problem halved, or the sayings along them sort of lines.
Like, there's even money, debt, whatever. There's places you can go to get help with that. So, you know, if you're, you know, look.
No matter what your struggles are, there's, you know. And I suppose in regards to Archie, everyone was shocked for a reason. Because at the end of the day, nobody maybe realised, or in the outer circles realised maybe what he was actually going through. But all we can do now is keep Archie's memory alive. And
Gary Kerrigan made a class sticker for him. It's now on the car. It's in the shape of like a King of the Cone sticker, and it just says it's number one, and it just says forever, just number one forever.
Almost definitely.
Which is one of the nicest tributes I've ever. It's probably one of the nicest tributes you could have done for him. I mean, how his funeral went yesterday is exactly how I guess I expected it to go. in terms of the absolute mad wrecking that was done yesterday between that and the quarry.
And I'm sure the man himself,
I'm sure would have something to fucking say about it, knowing Archie like he's a fucking slabber, but
all we can do now
he was
is
proud of all of us trying to do what we could in his honour, and I'm just big massive thanks to Ali and Lloyd for cobbling together a kind of a base map just to get it there. It came down to really, did I want my car for this weekend or did I want my car for the funeral? And I couldn't do both, so I chose and I didn't expect Ali to try and get it ready for this weekend, because he was equally a good friend to Archie as well. Like, we were all part of the same crowd, like, so.
Well, Archie was definitely a character that touched a lot of people.
Aye, yeah. Whether you hated him or whether you loved him, you can't say that he didn't have a big impact on a lot of our lives. And I think a lot of people are even realising, as I say, when I just sit back and think about it, like, just with being in the Sierras and being a Sierra man and all, he was...
Well, like, as you said to me, there only was one Archie, and there's a reason he was number one. So as we start again, after taking a wee break there, me breaking the fourth wall, to anybody listening, it genuinely is okay to not be okay, and nobody wants to have anybody less about them.
Definitely not.
So, without further ado, what's crack with you, Michael?
Aside from that, then I suppose it's been with the weekend past there, obviously it was hectic for other reasons, but the weekend before then was also fucking hectic, but with better circumstances. So Saturday, Owen Smith invited me. He asked me would I come and help volunteer at the BRM tractor pull. Now, I missed the BRM tractor pull last year, so I was not missing it this year. And then I went up and I was like, right, what's the crack here? What's the plan? And he was like, I want you in flag duty. And I was like, fuck. Because, like, I know I'm a gobshite and all that, but I actually do get wild nervous when it comes to things like that. So it was responsible for me. I was the one basically told the drivers to go, and I know that sounds very simple, but there's a bit of a case nearly where the drivers are sort of looking at you and they're like, when can I go? But Owen or Niall are way down, like, cleaning the track, and Kenny Haggerty was like, look, for the first while, don't tell him to go until I give you the signal. And I was like, right, that's okay. So I was then looking around waiting on Kenny, and Kenny was around looking waiting on Owen and all this here, and Niall, and then eventually, like, and there was a couple of ones just went on ahead, but like, for the most part everybody did listen. And it was, the BRM pulls quite cool in a way that it's a lot of local lads that would be local to us, like even around here, so like Tommy McFall, Donald Crystal, Ryan Geary, Andy Hamill, Barry McGoldrick and all of their own McGill and all the likes were all there. They were all up at it. So you see a few of the local lads and they're lined up in the tractors. It's like, kind of know, it's like, well, lads, what's the crack, but it was actually a class day, to be fair. So I ended up, for the first half of the morning, they were running the tractors out, and the way they had two sleds. Fucking a game changer. Unbelievable.
So two sleds. So they could have two simultaneous pulls going.
Yeah, but the way I did it was I tried to stagger them one at a time, because the way I wanted it to be is if you were in the far lane from the crowd, you wanted your pull still to be seen, or at least I felt every pull should have been seen. Especially like when you get the likes of like a blue 110 or something lines up the pull.
Only naturally you'd want fucking everybody to see that.
Well, there was a lot of fates there, to be fair. Like, it was, so I was horned out of it. Like, so. So one of them was basically you were
fat container cell then?
Just about. You the Glen Shane Anchor, which is Barry Brawley's sled on one side, and then you've got the Gladiator, which is Noel Watts' sled on the other side. Noel Watts is Irish Tractor Pulling Association. She's EU certified, so she can pull behind the likes of the modified tractors.
Oh, right.
Whereas Barry's can't.
But could they even put Barry's on just for the crack of it?
I don't think it has the right Barry's is suitable, I think, only for far. Now I'm sure Monty could probably modify it. Whatever he would need to do, he could soon make it suitable. But
do you know any of the differences?
No.
Okay.
I'll be brutally honest. I don't. I would need to have Frosty or Morton or one of them boys down here to tell me, or Barry himself would have to tell me. So, but see, to be honest, with the two sleds, it was class. So you'd one boy lining up and getting hooked on, and then you were getting the other tractor to come down the field. And Owen and Niall were in alternating lanes. So the F-130 was out with the big wheels. The F-140 with the big wheels was also out.
Did
That was class. So
well, out of curiosity, just before you go any further, like, were they fit to? Do you know, like, obviously On the Pull was racing with the trailers. Mm-hmm. Were they fit to do any maybe show pulls where they could race each other with the sled on behind?
Not really, and to be honest, the reason for that being is the ground conditions just simply didn't hold up. The ground conditions, I would still say the day went very, very well, but nobody was getting over 30 metres.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The only longer pull there was two of them. Cook done a full pull in the 9.5 class, but Cook can weight up to 14.5 tons, so
fuck.
He can go for the 14 class, which is
How
more match
would
for
that
his.
Not be, though?
5 ton, so a lot.
Fuck.
He can go into the big boy class because he's got the horsepower, but 9.5, obviously, with the power he has, it's a good enough. He can just run. There was an 86-90 done a full pull as well. John Patrick, I think his name is.
She's basically an 87
40
or something like that. They're just pre-facelift of it.
And I think it's been doctored.
Slightly.
I think it's been doctored.
Slightly.
It's an animal. So he done a full pull, and then the way the course was, they had to actually reverse the sled back up, and then.
Oh fuck! It was that the
ground? Yeah, it was. And then I was before coming out to do the modified class. Noel Watt was right. He goes, he goes, I know you've been doing the flags all day. He goes, the boys and the tractor pullers aren't going to listen to you. And I was right. I goes, well, that makes sense. He goes, if they're building boost, they're building boost. He goes, I'll have the green light. He goes, I'll know when to let them go. I went, no bother. I'm just going to stand and watch.
Definitely.
And I felt so bad for one fella. He had a David Brown. I think it was a 1490 or 1690 tractor puller. And he lined her up. He just got her repainted. He just got her done. He lined her up. I was standing on the sled with him chatting after. I was on the sled for a bit. And next thing, he started her up. And we're right, let's go. And he went. And the next thing, you just seen black driplets coming out of the exhaust. And the next thing, we looked around. The whole place was just clattered in oil. She shot the turbo.
Oh.
I know, grim But it was a good day. I was chatting to the Carton twins, Tyler Woods and Shannon, her sister. I was chatting to them for a while. I was spending a right by the day with Big Morton as well, and then I was down with Sir Ryan Connery and all for a good while too. At the end, and as I say, it was nice to see a lot of local lads like Sir Ryan Carey and Andy Hamill and all them boys floating about too. So, but yeah, likes of Owen and Niall, keeping the show going all day. The pair of them just on the back and forward. Kyle Haggerty was doing a bit of it too, just keeping the track clean. And it was a tough enough day in them with the track, and I think, to be honest, what BRM have there, they got the day for it. Unfortunately, the fella that was the whole run was or the whole thing was actually for. He actually passed away.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, that earlier that week, and that was who the run was for. It was for Eunan's friend. Eunan being Owen's oldest brother, Frost's oldest brother. Eunan's the one that does all the timesheets and stuff.
And to be fair, I've seen them.
Fuck, he is.
He is first class at it.
The tractor pulling in this country has got so much better with Eunan. The scene would be lost without Eunan.
It lays everything down nice and simple. Everybody knows how they've got on.
He takes no bullshit.
No.
He takes no bullshit as well. He's good crack, good in the microphone too. Very good in the mic. But so fair play to Eunan even for stepping up and doing all that. They got the permission from the family still to run the event. So that's a wee bit tragic there. But they raised I don't think Owen did tell me how much money they raised, or it said about how much it started to raise because we were counting it up the next day, and they done even just with the weather and the whole thing. And I mean, I bowed out around, I think it was 6:30 or something in the end. I'd been there from early, and I think I'd got hit with the sun a wee bit. So, but it was a class day.
Did you not learn from?
No,
ADC?
I was actually so I was standing on top of the mound, and the next thing I just pulled out my phone and rung Tyler Woods, and I seen Tyler like standing in the crowd, just looking. Next thing she pulls out her phone, looks at the phone, looks at me, looks at the phone, looks at me, and then answers and goes, "Hello," and I was like, "Do you have any Factor 50?" See the stuff that she got for me. It was from some Wayne. It was like glue.
Fuck. Right,
it was like glue. It was really good stuff, but I got real badly burnt here.
So Taylor, very good at selling raffle tickets, also good at getting you sunscreen.
So yeah, she got me sun cream, so I was very, very happy about that. The BRM pull was a class day. Top moments, Niall Smith done a real good pull in the Homley Hornet. He got about 64 metres. That, do you remember the V10 Dutz?
Yes.
Engined Fortune Major. Case Grosjean.
Yes, the one with the exhaust on either side.
Aye, he done a pull. I think he got something like 62 metres in her as well.
During Pomeroy at night time, she was a sight to behold.
That thing is absolutely class. And then just like seeing everybody else, and like I say, a lot of the real good quality of the farm tractors. You know, Martin was there. Jack Hood. I felt so bad for Jack Hood. Jack Hood brought his. So he is a Cummins engined Brown. I think it's. It
was on the pole.
Yes, it was. It was the one that was against Alan Murphy at On the Pole.
Yes,
that's the Cummins engine one. Now it's a big turbo and all on, but he says his injector pump isn't running right.
Okay. She's not getting the diesel she needs.
Yeah. So he had the wee tractor out. I think she's a 990 or something. He tried to pull her and just didn't even move. I was just like, Jack. At one point I looked and I goes, Jack, there's more smoke coming out under that tractor. The blow by, and he was like, he goes, she's not. He's like, I only brought her for the crack. And then he took it's a red brown, but I don't think it's a 94. I'm pretty sure it's still like a 1390 or something. But anyway, it's got a 5.9 Cummins engine, or he couldn't get her to go with her. But the thing is, he was mowing silage wire the next day. But he said just he couldn't get her to go. He says the injector pump was
just being a dick.
And then, I think my favourite tractor, I know what my favourite tractor of the day was. Shane Potter has an 880. He's blown the engine in her a couple of times. So he's decided to do what a lot of the boys do, and he's put a lorry engine in her.
Oh.
And a big massive turbo.
As you do.
And she revs out, and I think the injector pump, I was told an injector pump of a boat engine. Now, what that means nothing, but someone told me 12 mil elements, that may or may not be true. But she revs to 3,500. She screams.
So she's some boat then.
Oh, it is class. Honestly, it's deadly. I was big wide tires and all, and she's like pure patina spec as well. Like, it's like, it'd be the equivalent kind of, you know, that one from Holland that I would bang on about, Mark Knapp's 980. He'd be the closest thing to it over
that's
here,
cool, yes.
And that's cool as well. Like, so Shane was out in it. So I know the BRM day was absolutely class, and then followed up with that was the Mulligan's tractor run.
Just before you get into it, so I couldn't make the BRM tractor pulling day.
Yes,
because Bales.
Yes.
So we bailed all our third cut because the silo just isn't howling anymore.
Did you consider doing what you did last year with remember you had the wee small?
Oh no, there's bales in it too.
Aye.
So
probably handier with bales for a third cut, to be honest. Probably easier in the ground.
To be honest with you, I should have said at the time, but so the last of our second cut was being baled and sorted the night of my 30th birthday.
Yes.
So big thanks to Connor McLarnon.
Yes.
And his ones. they drew the bales home as well. Put it this way. So I was started the milk and heard the machinery going. I was like, who the fuck is out there, whatever. Jumped out in the feeding passage, walked out to where the bales were being started, and just went, this is deadly. Jem's not going to kill me now because I don't have to do that now tonight. This is great. Never actually thanked them for it, but it was a great job that they brought them home at that time. But so third cut anyway, we can't mine in many acres all in total, but say 60 to 70. Or
did you as many as that for third cut?
Oh, fuck.
Seriously? I was thinking maybe 40 to 50.
So
that's a lot of bales.
That's a lot of bales. Well, the majority of it was like 4 bales to 5 bales to acre or something like that.
I suppose it's not like first cut or second cut.
So we obviously got the new baby Massey. And originally the way the loader connects to the hydraulics on the wee Massey, she came with the wrong connectors. Basically, she didn't come with a quick attach, or what I have now found out to be a quickie multi-quip 4 or something coupler.
Is that what you have in the 6.7?
Yes.
Right.
So it came on the Friday. No, so they went and got it on the Saturday morning and found out the actual hydraulic fittings into this coupler were the wrong ones.
Okay.
So therefore it couldn't go, the weak tractor couldn't go on the loader.
Right.
Because she is from factory loader.
She's loader ready, yeah.
So basically she's
the
fancy
joystick
and all that crack. So big tractor's used anyway. So we tractor, let's just say, got the first load of bales where down the road, and the way we were working it was there was 3 trailers going, and I basically bring down a full load. It would be offloaded. There would be an empty trailer. I'd take up the road, and then you'd run with the 3
the trailers off
and on. Yes.
Yes.
Though I
with
literally.
With the saying how fucking tough it is to take off the trailer, you were probably at it for ages, were you?
No.
Oh, really? Have you got onto it?
No. So yes, I have got onto it. It's like anything when you are least expecting to find out or to find the best way of doing something. Yes. You find out or see the best way of doing something.
Right.
But so I got the first load of bales down, and then so whatever reason I turned her off and on again, but the lights were on, and then turned her on again. That was all grand. But then I was like, 4-wheel drive's on. Turned it off. Wouldn't go off.
Oh.
Then I was like, hold in the switch. But then it put her into auto 4-wheel drive. And I was like, no, that's still not 4-wheel drive off. So anyway, didn't actually know at the time whether it was off, as in mechanically off in the tractor, and just the light was shining in the dash. So drove up to the end of my lane really easily. But then it sort of put it this way, whenever I braked and then took the brakes off, because whenever you brake a tractor, she goes into 4-wheel drive for 4-wheel assist braking.
Is that just that tractor does
it's
that?
For no, any modern tractor does it now.
Oh, right,
it's for safety, right?
Okay.
So got to the end of the lane.
I'm assuming my 110 doesn't do that.
Should do, yeah. Your 110 should have 4-wheel assisted brakes.
Probably, come on.
Because if you have a trailer on, you've only 2-wheel braking, like she could go fucking any road.
I know, and she doesn't, like, so. The more you know. I actually didn't know that.
So, as far as I'm aware, anyway, I could be wrong. I'm no mechanic. So then I was like, right, this doesn't come out of 4-wheel drive. So, rung the brother, and he was like, right, leave her where she's at. Just turned out there was a fuse gone. It's always something really stupid and simple.
But you still shouldn't be seeing that on a brand new tractor. Like,
it's like anything. I'd rather see it now than see it in 2 years' time. It was a fuse
under warranty.
Yeah, so it was just something stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, because obviously the time she really needed to be used at that time, which couldn't be used.
Yeah.
We were like, no, we'll just leave that to make our dairies, and they can come out whenever their Monday or whatever comes. So then we got a land of, basically rung, and thankfully Peter Johnson came and he drove their T6.145. So he then took over from me. I jumped in with him he was home for a holiday from New Zealand, so he was out there with Cook Contracts.
Yeah.
And he's been driving to them for, I suppose, 18 months to 2 years now. So he was home anyway for a holiday.
Yes.
And thankfully he came up, and he drove away, bringing the trailers up and down, jumped in with him, got to catch up with him, and then it was getting to about, must have been 11 or something, and father's obviously elderly, so I was basically like, right, do you want me to stack these?
Mm-hmm.
Now, McLaren's make a terrific bale, nice and heavy.
Mm-hmm. That's not great for stacking.
Well, it's just the fact. So we also got a McHale lifter. So we got a new McHale lifter.
For the JCB or for the Kramer?
We have a Kramer / JCB attachment for Euro brackets and a loader. So Jared worked his welding magic,
yes,
and came up with this. So it's basically you can put
anything to anything.
Yes. Essentially. So we were stacking with the Kramer, and then the big tractors in the field, and then Johnson's T6 was drawn up and down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So the McHale, I rate it. The Kramer's nice shovel to stack with, because obviously everything's in the one joystick, whereas our older JCB is one lever's for up and down, the other lever's for boom in and out, and the lever behind them two is for your pins or your third hydraulic thing, so basically shear grab open and closed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 12 o'clock came, and then 1 o'clock came. Then I messaged you and said, are you still up, editing? Because the last podcast had no technical difficulties, Michael.
Fucking hell. I suppose that's probably something I should have chatted about. Put my what's new as well, but we'll talk about that after.
But there's no reply from you, so I was like, oh, he's got it sorted then. 2 o'clock came. Then 3 o'clock came. And at this stage I was like, is there actually any more bales come down the road?
We've got another 10 acres.
Well, we did, but then I seen the 2 tractors come down the road, and then Jared was just like, fuck that, I'm way to bed. And then he was just like, enjoy your 2 hours of sleep. And I was like, oh, I will not. So I get into the house and then up again to do milking.
Aye.
To say the least, I was fucked.
Yeah.
But sure, it's like anything. You know the way, like, you get up, well, I get up in the morning, and after a couple of hours, the drowsiness and all that air goes off you. So I thought it was a fucking fantastic idea to go to Mulligan's tractor on.
Aye.
Now bear in mind, the 6.7 had the loader on.
Yes.
Had the bale lifter and the loader.
Yes.
And it was dirty as fuck.
Yes. Well, wasn't too bad.
Oh, how long? It was dirty as fuck at that time.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, it wasn't really, but it was dirty enough. So I had seen a thing in TikTok shop, and it was essentially a wash mitt on a pole.
Yeah.
So you can reach further away places.
Yes.
But I was like, oh, there's bound to be a decent one on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Because Amazon comes the following day, not TikTok a week later. So at the time, I went on to Amazon and I bought this thing. I was like, this should make life a lot easier. Mm. And it was. It makes washing the Civic, which I never wash, really easy. Because obviously it's like anything, whenever you're stepping down or whatever with a wash mitt in your hand, if you have another 4 foot of a pole, you can stand up and still wash the same place.
Yeah.
It makes more sense. Like your Amarok is fucking class. So
I probably should get one.
So anyway, it came with extendable poles to, it was like 2.5 meters high. So holy basically, shit. I could stand and I could wash the top of the bonnet and the tractor and the front window and everything like that.
No bother.
So it came with 3 mitts. So naturally, you keep one good for your car, and then you maybe use one for the tractor. I was lazy and just went, fuck it, it'll be grand. I'll just use that one now for the tractor, and then it can stay on for the tractor. That was grand. So washed the tractor in all of 15 minutes. Actually came out grand.
Yeah,
it turned
grand
out
for a
that
15-minute wash.
Overly concentrated auto glim stuff I bought in Artie's is decent stuff, wash and wax. So didn't take too long to get the 6.7 washed. So the inside of the wheels were still bogging. But could I be fucked doing that? No. Underside of the mudguards were still bogging. Could I be fucked doing that? No. Inside of the cab was still bogging. Like the glass was clean the outside, but not the inside.
This is what mine's isn't clean the inside. Mine's would need a proper run through it now either as well.
So I spent a wee bit of time washing it, and then we still had bales to bring home, mind you, on Sunday. Yeah. But still, I was in this mood. To be honest with you, I regretted that later on that day.
It's one thing I did not regret doing.
But it's because I was knackered later on that day. But anyway, so you rung me and you were like, are you going to this? And I was like, no, definitely not. 10 minutes later, I was like, fuck it, I'll go. So get the tractor washed and proceeded to meet you in the back car park in Marfeld. I parked before the back car park for all of 5 minutes because it's like, I'm not looking like a fucking dick at my age in a tractor in the back car park. And then I was just like, fuck it, we'll embrace being a dick in the back car park. And then literally, I was like, please be here shortly, because I specifically left a bit longer because you're slower.
Yeah.
So we frequented in the back car park and we got a cool shot.
Yes.
Or you got a cool shot anyway. And then I was like, right, you go in front of me because I know what speed you're doing. So then you were in front of me and I seen what revs you were sitting at. So I just put the hand throttle to whatever revs, and I was like, fucked if I'm going off and on throttle. Your 110's very reeky.
I thought that too until I done the run. So I'll actually jump on this bit. So
yes, that's why I was hoping you would do.
We got to the event, and we got to Mulligan's and got up, and I was put in on the right hand side and you were sent up to the back. And originally I was like, I seen all the fates and just went, what is this? I didn't know. There's a fella Paddy Eddie Donnelly had passed away earlier this year, and he was a big fate man. He had 190, and he was from Draperstown direction, or up that part way, 6 towns maybe or something like that. And they were lining up all the 190s and 11090s in memory of him. And just by pure chance, this was the case, and I got put in with them. And I was like, well, hopefully Connor will understand. So we ended up getting out, but before that, like I like to think my tractor's reeky, and then Frosty then landed in, and if you think you were tired, Frosty didn't sleep Friday night, and he didn't sleep any much of Saturday.
Aye, but that man can handle lack of sleep.
That's just Red Bull. So Frosty landed in BRM's wee blue.
It's cool as fuck.
Oh, beautiful wee tractor. And then there's another lad with us as well, and forgive me, Cobb, his name's Calvin, but I can't remember Calvin's second name. Calvin was with us as well, and he had another blue 110, and it's loud. He so then the two we lined up. There's a terracotta, mine in the middle, and Calvin's, and because Calvin come up the road with Owen, and there's wee blue, me, and then Calvin's, and we done this thing where one of us revved, the next one revved, just acting like complete young boys. I thought,
sure, you're just a young boy.
Aye, plus fat. So I thought mine was a bit reeky, and then stuck between them two. You don't even see mine putting out anything like.
Oh, 'cause not that bad.
I know it's not, but like, turns out a turbo makes him reek a bit more like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then
when's it happening, Michael?
Well, I'm back now to thinking maybe the whole set should get banned after all. And I'm thinking probably just go ahead with any 340 turbo. So probably need to go and visit Sam Cole soon. The cattle's going away, and as soon as the cattle's gone away for the winter, the fate will be pulled into the shed.
Any profits? Take my money.
So between Sam Cole and Andy Hamill and a couple of others, there'll be a bit of money transferring hands and a bit of shit.
Well, I followed you into it, and as soon as I seen the fates, I was like, I'll not be behind him today. So I drove up on round, and none other than Mr. Sean McNamee was lining me up.
Yes.
I jumped out of the tractor and I got, well, sir, I haven't seen you in a while. And I was like, same to yourself, I haven't seen you in a while as well. And then we had a wee bit of a catch up on that. And
so had Adrian parking me.
He was like, I didn't even have to tell you where to go, you just knew where to go. Some of these young boys, you know, not just as. And I was like, oh, cheers, thank you very much. And he was like, you look tired. I was like, I am, thank you very much. But then we went down and seen Adrian, had the crack with Adrian. I still need to give Adrian his merch.
Yes.
And Conor Kelly for that matter
yes.
as well. But I mistakenly was like, oh, I'll go up, because I seen a few of the beacons turned on in the line. I thought, oh, it's time to go up and sit in the tractor. I was fucking wrong. Because they
let all the lorries go first, you see, that's why.
I was sitting in the tractor 45 minutes.
Aye.
Stupidly.
I was sitting in the tractor for a long time.
It's not even that there. The tractor was in a fucking hill. So my 2 feet were howling like that there to howl me in the seat.
Yeah.
So, aye.
Well, I had wee Liam McDonald on me.
Oh, right, yes.
I worked with his ma previously when I worked for CDE. I worked with his ma, Aileen. So she goes to me, "Do you want a passenger, Michael?" And I was like, "If you want." She goes, "This wee boy actually knows your podcast." And I was like, "Right." Fair play. So Aileen was like, sure, do you want to take Liam along with you? And I was like, 100%, no bother. So I had wee Liam with me. And turns out they have Fitz in their family farm as well. So he could probably have driven it better than I could, to be honest.
Oh, fair enough.
So
yes.
Me and him were cracking away. It's good old crack, like. But funny you say about my tractor being slow or whatever. So it was Paul O'Hara's 190 was in front of me. It was a wee girl driving it. I don't know her name, but it was Paul O'Hara from Arbo. It was his tractor. I've had Paul for years on Facebook, like, and I was catching it, and your boy, I was pulling away from Wee Blue, and Calvin. Then I was chatting to Calvin after, and Calvin was like following me up the road, and Calvin was like, "Your tractor's fast," and I was like, "Sir, it's a Fate." I goes, "There's not one of them fast." Like,
yes.
He goes, "What revs are you sitting at?" I goes, 27. He goes, "Bullshit." I goes, "I'm telling you, 2700. He goes, "Mine's is full of the clock." And I was like, "Well, mine's has a high idle." I was like, and it's sitting at 1000 RPM and idle. I was like, "So I know my rev gauge is right." And he was like, that's a fast Fate. And I was like, again, no such thing exists. He's like, I can't catch up with you. He goes, and I know my tractor's fast for a Fate.
Yes.
And he was like, I can't catch up with you anywhere. And he was like, is she screwed? And I was like, I just well doctored, like. But he was like, that will explain your hay idle. So apparently for a Fate, I've got quite a fast one.
Well,
it's still slow as fuck.
yes, but if you think about it, the only work your Fate has done is draw silage.
Yes.
And it's not massively hard in a tractor, but it's the same time the tractor's working all the time.
Oh, I beg load on her, like.
You know, bar being so literally your tractor tops and draws silage.
Tops, draws silage, draws slurry occasionally, and mix silage twice.
Mix silage,
mix slurry twice.
Be funny to see your tractor on our high flow pump.
I should be no bother with it.
With 130 horse minimum.
Actually, be dead on.
Be interesting, but so I was in the run and got the length of. So I thought that they would be doing Dirtburstown to Desert Mountain thing. Naturally, if I had any wit about me, I would have been like, look at the layout of where they're actually going first. I didn't, so I assumed they were doing that, and then I'd be like, right, Marfelt, I'd go on off home because we had bales to do, and I was getting. Phoned, where's the tractor at? Starting to need it shortly. So it got to Tubbermore, and then I was like, right, at the flyover I'm going to jump out and go onto the Glen Sheen and go home. Wondered why this place was at a standstill, couldn't understand, and then it turned out, from what I can gather, Brennan Farms, their T7 with the wide tyres on it.
She wanted the blue powers or just...
a blue power, yes. She got a puncture or something. She was just lying at the side of the road, and obviously people were trying to get out by it.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get all that sorted out. Well, I assume it was Brennan's because, number one, there was 4 tractors in the line, and every one of the girders had a soft shell, and it blatantly said Brennan Farms on it.
I would imagine it was probably the Brennans, and that would make sense.
And then got on home, and then... Bales, and more bales. And yeah, bales.
Bales.
So we eventually got the coupler on the wee Massey.
Yes.
So the wee Massey has been on the loader.
Yes.
Now the loader that we have is
maybe a wee bit big for it, is it?
Is a 956. They're typically sold, if they are being sold, with equivalent new style quickie to 946.
Okay.
So basically, she is technically either for a bigger chassis tractor or a 6-cylinder loader.
Yeah.
She's basically
so like a 150 plus horsepower tractor, nearly kind of.
She's higher reach.
Aye. She's for a bigger frame.
Aye. Yeah, so it's funny. Whenever you go from a tractor with 100 litre pump, heavier, and more horsepower, to a 60 litre pump, but she is a high flow, so she's dual line pump.
Right.
So you can turn the second pump on with a switch.
Okay.
And that puts her up to 100. but on a 4.5. So she's, I'd say, fairly similar chassis ways to a 5S.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, she's a global series, so she's like way bit cheaper here and there. See a tractor that's made for a loader.
Yes.
The visibility far better.
Yeah.
Everything is far better, bar weight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird to use a loader now with no front suspension, because before you had the suspension from the loader.
Yes.
And the suspension from the quad link front suspension.
Yes.
In the 6.7. So your whole load was going like that there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just doing that there. And obviously the back end's lighter in the rear tractor, so it's a bit of a learning curve now. But some job. She would be the rod at putting bales and trailers not there in the field.
Aye.
With the weight in the back of her.
Aye. Like you'd nearly need a bale lifter and a bale in the back of her.
Oh, aye, be perfect.
Aye. That'd be the job,
yeah.
like.
But yes, McLaren's make great bales, heavy bales, but they're just easier to burst, or else I can't drive. Probably I can't drive, but
at least you know you're getting. At least you know they're not robbing you. It's good, honest bales, like good heavy bales.
I'd be surprised if they weren't 800 kilos.
Aye.
Easy.
Barns are the same, like.
They always say that a farmer usually bales as heavy a bale as that.
Yeah.
But you know, because he's technically doing himself out. Like some people maybe, I don't know if anybody does, but supposedly there's something where they put the tensioner down in the baler and there's more bales, but then they turn into pancakes.
I had that done to me about 6 or 7 years ago.
How many bales did you have?
7 bales in the wee triangle field across the road.
What?
Yeah.
Did they like?
They were rotten within about 4 months.
Fuck.
Yeah, and we're like ripping them open in the yard. I think I got the first one.
Were they pancakes?
They were fairly flattened, fairly fallen. I wasn't impressed. Darren's done it ever since, and no issues with his.
How many bales do you now get with him?
To be fair, the 2 fields out there, like an acre, 1.4 acres and 1.2 acres, I got 10 bales an acre, or 10 bales off it, so about 8 bales to the acre, give or take. And the wee field across, then she's 0.7, I got 5 bales off it. And then second time round, on the second cut, I got 8 bales off the acre. That was last year. This year I only baled the wee field across there, but I let it go for a good while, probably till, and I got 5 off it. And on like 0.7 of an acre, so probably 7 or 8 bales to the acre. But I mean, I let it grow till it wasn't for quality, it's just simply for
laying their stomach.
Well, I'm still feeding last year's bales to them at the minute. So, and I'm not even going to get through this year's bales because they're going here at the end of the month. And the wee field across the road, I've been holding the grass. I've been holding them in that field there. I'm feeding them bales to let the grass grow across the road. So whenever I grow to sell them, they're back on a grass diet and should shine them up and keep them
we
going.
also sowed out some fields, and hopefully it grows grass. And Connor, he got a grass eater, so he sowed it off for us.
Nice.
So.
The final thing then, I suppose, I don't think I talked about this in the last pod, but Sarah went off to LA for map, and I know I alluded to it at the start. But so it's away off to LA to get the final bits done to it, get a bit of welding done to in around the exhaust and stuff like that. Sort of just getting a cam sensor put in it. I've got a new wastegate on it because apparently my last wastegate is ovaled since it fell off that time on the road. Good crack there. So it was either, as I say, the way it worked with Ali, because he was equally going to the funeral and all, he wouldn't have had time to get her ready for Lloyd. Lloyd's away to Drift Masters.
Yeah.
So between Lloyd and Ali, they threw a base map on the car for me to bring it down to the funeral. I was just happy to have it there, although everybody was messing about, and I was sitting there going, fuck, I wish I could do something. I was just thankful the car was there, but fuck, I had some torture getting that thing ready to go. I couldn't get brakes. Could not get brakes. And
you eventually got brakes?
Eventually got brakes. Bled the master. It took me 2.5 days on brakes alone, trying to figure out what the hell was the problem was. Bled absolutely everything. And turns out in the end up, there was a wee thing broken the master in the actual servo, and the rod, I was setting it in every time and it was fine. But it turns out it was slightly misaligned. And because the rod always sits in the servo, I was just pushing it on and assuming it would fit perfectly every time, and it actually wasn't. It was going down underneath the master cylinder. So when I was pushing in, the rod, instead of going into the master cylinder, was going along the bottom of the master cylinder. And that's why it felt like there was resistance. But it...
you got it sorted then?
Got it sorted, so that was that. Anyway, will we move on to our guest?
Yes. So we were down in Waterford.
This is 5 weeks ago.
Quite a while ago.
It was the weekend we went to Ahill.
Yes, and we had the pleasure of seeing a man that only sees private road signs half the time.
We had Shamous and Conor.
He's the only man I've ever seen that, he knows where the private tolls are.
He's a fucking...
He's like, I have paid to do this.
He's a fucking lunatic. So we had Seamus and Conor Allen as well. So Seamus Fitzgearld and Conor Allen. Conor's part of the Fitzfab crew. There's a couple of other lads there, but DJ and Dawson weren't able to make it. Dawson was watching his brother fighting or something, and DJ bought a caravan. And DJ bought a caravan, ended up in a festival, and was at the time MIA. So we
was it not Electric Picnic or someone was on that?
Did he go to Electric Picnic? I don't know where he went.
I don't know, but
they just said he was at a festival. And they hadn't heard from him since, so that was that. But it was, again, two lads tell a great story. Very much lay into their cars. As I said, and you'll hear me say this later on the pod, I don't know if any of you watch Night Ride. Night Ride's one of my favourite YouTube channels. Fitzfab are the closest thing that Ireland has to them guys. They work on class cars, but they are relatable. They're humble, and they're just full-time fucking mad cunts.
Yes.
So...
And we learned a very interesting fact about Seamus Fitzgerald.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the Waterford Blah, which we also learned about.
We didn't try one.
No, we didn't. We just wanted to get out the road to Cork in the end.
But I'll give you a wee Easter egg. And it's been out now, but shake and bake.
Shake and bake. So, you'll see a transition now, and now we'll be in a shed in Waterford. In 3, 2, 1.
Teleported.
Do you see these new things on YouTube now, right? Because my kids was watching YouTube the other day and I was listening, and it was like, if you don't want your parents to die, well, like and subscribe. And I was like, what the fuck? Huh? I was like, that's so clever. I was like, I'd never thought of that.
No, that's like on TikTok. I watched the TikTok.
I was like,
that's emotional damage.
Yeah, I was like, that's so good. Why didn't I think of that? So now I'm going to be like, yeah, we're here putting in this J160. Your parents might die if you don't subscribe. That's going to be good. That's going to work. Because it works for them. They all have millions of followers.
Your kids are there terrified at home.
They're saying, Mum, you need to subscribe so we can get this Lexus box back into this car.
I swear to God, but if you actually sit back and listen to it, that's all you hear. It's like, if you want like 5 years, good luck. And
yeah, that's on TikTok. You go in, if you don't like and comment on this video, you've
10
years instant bad luck.
Yeah, fuck me. What you got to smash window?
That must have been why my car blew up the first time. So
I think that's probably why I had so much bad luck then.
No, you just make bad choices.
I know, that's true. That's probably as good a way to get us started as any. Yeah. So we're down here in Waterford with Fitzfab. We've been planning on doing this for a long, long time, but given we're complete opposite ends of the country, it's not really.
Do you know, we're actually not that far. If you look it up on Google Maps, right, and you look up Waterford, and then where you are, it's like literally only that far. So it's a bit of a bad excuse why you didn't come down.
I might be able to do that.
Tell you. So it's not a great excuse, like.
When you actually look at Google, you're really close. So we've come down here planning this for a long, long time, and it's finally good to get down. So we're followed just from fundraiser yesterday. We got a couple of clips of you out, reckon.
It's good day out.
So I suppose what we'll do is we'll get a kind of an introduction of the pair of you. So it's just, there's 4 of you in Fitzfab, isn't there?
There's 4 of us in it, yeah. Unfortunately, Dawson's not here today. His brother is away fighting. Conor doesn't know how to put his phone on silent.
Oh, Conor.
Carney. He's literally outside. Why is he ringing me?
Because he's trying to ring me. So, sorry, before I was rudely interrupted. I was...
Why the man you asked to do you a favour?
I know, yeah. So Dawson couldn't be here today because his brother is fighting in Belfast. DJ ended up buying a caravan yesterday, which you seen when you pulled up.
Yeah.
He randomly bought that caravan. He stopped at a festival on his way home, and I think he's still there.
Yeah, I think he's still there,
To be fair, we can neither confirm nor deny if we were like, get the keys to the hammer up.
Yeah. So I think DJ's in a happy place now in a field somewhere.
Well, Probably better.
At least if you're going to buy one, make use of it.
Exactly. So
Sure, this is a good idea.
I'm sure we'll cross paths again. So we'll get the boys on the next one.
So then, men are just a pair of views then. So
Left with us too, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm Shamfitz, known as Shamfitz 86, Shammy half shafts, and so on and so forth. Twin cam Sham. There's just so many different names I've been called.
They're the good names.
Call me what you want, just don't call me on a Sunday. But yeah, so I started Fitzfab originally, tacking up exhausts and just kind of doing like small little repair jobs, and then just Fitzfab just kind of just came to me one day. This name, that's what I was going to call my Instagram page, and started off as that. I was just always doing exhausts for lads because obviously I was doing welding and work, so. Just kind of was doing it for years, and then obviously when the whole YouTube thing started getting going, we were following Jimmy Oakes, Adam LZ, the usual lads. Just kind of got a bit of inspiration for it, and then I was like, Jesus, you know what? I was like within this time, I was like, we were like after building his car, we built my car, we're after building a load of cars, and we said, why aren't we recording what we're doing? I was like, we're building these cars, and they're well known, so it makes sense. I was like, let's just record it. Yeah. So then that's when I took Fitzfab from just this Instagram page to YouTube channel. And then we were doing that with the last year. And then I lost my job in November into December last year. So then I was kind of like, right, what do I want to do now? Do I want to work for someone else? No, I don't, because I hate people telling me what to do. So I was like, right. So then I said, right, let's see how far I can push Fitzfab. Let's bring it from an idea to an actual brand. So then I said, right, I'm going to do this full time, not just YouTube. So it's all, Fitzfab it's all like, it's to YouTube, it's the cars, it's the business itself. It's just all one big brand. So that's where we are now.
What does Fitzfab do though?
Fitzfab, it fixes cars. It can you can weld pipes. We can sell you merch. We can video you power washing your driveway. There's just so much stuff we can do. But mainly it's about cars and
It's kind of, it's like.
Have you had anybody that's asked you to watch them power wash their driveway?
Yeah, it's the old one down the road. It was actually. Did you not see that episode? No. I'll drop the link in the bio.
It's kind of like it is mainly. Look, everyone wants to do the cars, but at the end of the day, like you're a qualified like welder, so obviously you're going to take on like you're on a big job down in Cork now. It's nice to do cars the whole time, but like if you have work there, you need to.
It doesn't really. They don't like, to be fair, right? The cars are great content, but they don't pay that well, you know.
At the end of the day,
like if you see, like I showing you the car behind me, like the work that's gone, that car is stripped down to a shell, sandblasted, going back together. There's nowhere else. I know about up your side of the country. I know you have HRC and I think there's one other place up there as well. But
McLeod would be.
Yeah. So down this side of the country, there's nowhere else you can just drop off your twin cam and say, here, I want that restored and I want an engine conversion done in it as well, and so on and so forth.
Twin cams you want to work on?
No, we just seem to be just doing a lot of them. But like,
probably of the name, you know.
Yeah, and then we do a lot of. It's mainly just Jap cars. Everyone is Jap cars. So it makes for good content, but you know yourself, it's just the price of parts and stuff nowadays. It's just the money's just not in it. So
as well as that, then you have issues like you'll be doing a car for a fella and something go wrong, and he'll be like, right, I need to save up a bit of money to buy these parts. But then you're not working on the car, and the car is just here, so the car is being stored for nothing. Like, and it's kind of like you said, it's nice to do cars the whole time. They're good content, but it's. When there's jobs like you're on down in Cork where you're paid hourly rate, you know what you're getting a week, it's hard to turn off things like that. We were kind of, when we were doing the cars at the start, I was doing a good bit of work with you, and now Doss is with you. We actually met through work. We were working for the same company.
Yes.
And then I kind of just got sick of working away, and that's why I
got addicted to cars.
Yeah, and I kind of left that, and now I'm just farming at home, so it's kind of hard to get time to come in and do it as much, but
I know all about it.
Yeah, exactly. You know yourselves. Like this morning, I meant to be going off drawing silage this morning.
I did not have to draw silage this morning.
Sure, even yesterday, whenever you were like, so where are you going tomorrow, lads, or on Sunday? And we were like, oh, we're going down to Cork to go to that silage day, you literally just done the biggest day roll I've ever seen.
I was like, just
And you were just like, Connor's just going to love that. That's going to be great for Connor.
it's like, because they talking about me or something else?
No, because I'd be like texting Connor. I'd be driving on the road and I get stuck behind a tractor and it's his fault. I just text him. I'm like, that's one of your cousins or something. Someone is. And then last week I was in a rush and all these cows crossing. I was like, why is there cows in the main road? There's just there's no need for them. They just didn't need to be there.
He still gets mixed up with silage and slurry. I'm like, I'm cutting silage. He's like, is that the one where you're spreading it on the field? Like, no, that's slurry.
And the big cows and the little ones.
See, because we're farmers as well, like farming backgrounds.
Yeah.
Like this whole thing, people go, I hate that silage. It smells really bad, and I'm like,
yeah.
You just nearly.
No, I'm fucking happy to be out there looking at you.
Surprised you want to look at me, to be fair.
Alright, calm down. Seen enough of you last night.
We won't talk about that.
We stayed in like an old nunnery last night.
An old nunnery.
Yeah.
A convent, yeah.
Yeah. So
you had to go in and repent or something.
He actually came in. We came in last night at 2:30. I've got a video, and the first thing there's like this like thing of holy water sitting. Connor runs up, fucking puts his hand in, blesses himself.
Puts his hand in, his hand burns.
It was like double the price to stay in Waterford City, and I'm too miserable.
Yeah. It's not worth it. Especially when you're going down to Cork today, you're not staying there for the weekend or anything. It's only one night.
It's a case basically to just rest your head, like.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter how, like, it was just a bed basically, like. But it's just we walked into it and we were like.
Well, if I left in my head too much, it was a bunk bed, so I just got slapped
straight to the ceiling.
You got in one position last night and you got into your bed and just.
Wait,
You know how bad that sounds? You got into one position last night.
I'm like, was I watching?
And that was it.
You know, whenever you get them things where you start saying something and you realise halfway through.
That sounded so bad.
I may as well keep going.
You should probably let the people know that there were bunk beds and
then I was in a double
I was going to
bed.
say and he was on top, but that sounded worse. So anyway, back to
Moving
silage
swiftly
and
on.
cars and stuff.
So like you decided then to start going with this and trying to go for the YouTube.
Yeah, so we started going for YouTube. We pushed it. I couldn't believe the support we got. So we got the partnership program, which I was delighted about. And then I said, right, geez, we got to 1,000 subscribers. Let's keep going. And then me and Conor were planning the trip to Japan and DJ as well. So we said, right, this is going to be like a big one for us, big one for the YouTube. Went over there and then we hit the 2,000 while we were over there. And it was just, geez, I couldn't believe the amount of support. And then, as I explained to you yesterday, then as soon as I came back, then I dropped the camera, and that was it. Just
it's so hard.
All we done, like Japan, was just walking around, camera in my hands the whole time. And even the last 2 days, we said, you know what, we're not recording. We're just.
It's hard to find a mixture of like.
Does it not like ruin your enjoyment?
It doesn't. It kind of.
It does and it doesn't, because the Japanese people were so like they loved being on camera.
Yeah.
Like if you walk past, they were so happy. Such nice people. Like they were just so buzzing. Like if you walk past a new video of someone's car, like they were so happy.
Yeah.
And they're big on gifts as well. So like if we were like doing like a walk around in someone's car, we'd gift them a sticker, and that's like a really big thing in Japan. Is gifts.
I think it was kind of like I actually enjoyed the video on, but it's kind of like if you're in the middle of enjoying something and then you haven't been video on and you're like, oh shit, I need to record now.
Yep. And
And then you're kind of making it a chore to go and record, and you're like, I need to catch up on footage, and that's where I kind of find. But no, a lot of the time it is enjoyable. It's just when you put down the camera, as he said, it's so hard to get back into it.
That's why I think, like, do you see a lot of these lads who are like big, have someone following them with a camera?
Yeah.
Which I find, now, what I'd prefer, if someone would follow me with a camera, but then I edit it myself, because I'll know what bits to get with my group of friends. I know what's enjoyable for us, and like if someone else doesn't like it, it's their own business.
It's like people we'll be editing things that we find funny, and other people might just be like, but that's what works for us. Like if you like it, you like it.
Everybody's their own style at the end of the day.
Like those inside jokes, as you kind of get further along, like then we sort of inside jokes you have, people will start to catch on to that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of what people will start associating you with, is them kind of like those wee funny back jabs.
You say we talk very fast, but traditionally, when he gets a microphone in his mouth, he's a slow cunt. It's unbelievable.
I can understand him way better today.
Maybe you're just
You spent one night in Waterford.
Yeah, you're starting.
Yeah.
Oh, he would be.
I'm sure it wasn't just because you were ready to
He
fall
walked
asleep.
in this morning eating it. He was eating a blah and everything. It's good.
Fuck's a blah.
That's what I want.
Waterford blah.
You surely heard of a blah?
No.
No.
No Waterford Crystal.
Well, you don't eat it, do you?
No.
It's like a bap or something. What is it like?
Yeah, it's like
Like a roll.
It's
No.
not a roll. It's like so soft and warm
So
and
is it-
dusty and.
What's
It's
what's in the bap?
Whatever you want.
Blahs are love, blahs is life.
I tell you what, right? If you're hungry after this, when you're going, stop at the shop at the top of the road. Get a blah.
It's like instead of a roll, like you can put sauces,
so
whatever
good.
you want in
So
it.
basically, it's a.
It looks like a burger bun. Looks like a
so a
burger.
bap.
So it's a
Yeah,
bacon
that's what I
sausage
said.
bap.
It's like a but a blah is.
There's no seeds on
They're
it,
made kind of differently in Waterford. They're just
Yeah,
the
they're
Waterford
better, they're
blah
better.
is just.
Is it a brioche bap or something? Yeah.
You're
It's
just
not-
going to
it's
have to go to the shop
you're
and
just gonna
find
have
out,
to go on,
lads.
yeah.
I mean, we're going to have to do a whole another podcast on the blah.
Literally, just come down here and talk about it.
Waterford blah.
Waterford
yeah.
blah. What we'll do is when we're recording this here, when we're doing like the after section of this here, we'll probably stop on and try one of them. You'll hear them when you're listening.
Yeah.
Please do, because
We'll
it's
give
so
you
good. Sausage, rasher, red sauce,
Yeah.
tops.
I like the sound of that. To be fair,
Yeah.
I do like the sound of that. Let's take it. So you've talked about YouTube, and I want to kind of get back in because that whole segment in Japan is very much something I want to explore in a greater detail.
Yeah.
I want to take it back here a wee bit first. So sort of like building the interest in cars. Like you were sort of talking about it a bit off camera, and then we were like, here, look.
Was it always twin cams for you?
Yeah, so basically for me, right, I was actually, how I started my journey into life was in a WRC Subaru rally car.
It's like the scene from Talladega Nights
Yeah,
where the Cubs literally born in the back of
so
a car.
basically, yeah, same thing. So the family were all at a party. My mother was going to labour, and
He's not even joking.
my great my great aunt is she
Are
was
you really
married.
the
Yeah,
real Ricky Bobby?
yeah, shake and bake. Yeah, I swear to God. So yeah, my auntie was my great aunt was seeing a WRC rally driver at the time. So he actually still lives out there, still has all his old cars, but he was STI Subaru, and mother was going to labour, and she needed to get to the hospital quickly. So there was one way for me to get in there, and that's how I got there.
That is absolutely class.
That's a story.
I didn't even know that.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Swear to God, we'll have to bring on my mother to verify it. But
Yeah, we're going to have to ring your mother now.
I'm gonna ring ma'am.
Tell them.
No, but
tell
yeah,
them,
no,
tell
that's
them.
that's a true story. So, and then my father was always into cars. He was a panel beater. So my father started his own company called Street Devils. So basically, what he used to do was basically what I do, right? So you bring your car in, you want to get a body kit on it, fully resprayed. You want to put this is the max power days. You want to put 20-inch chrome spinners on your car with hydraulics,
Subwoofers.
75 subwoofers, 39 tellies, and 5 PlayStation 1s.
Back in that era.
Yeah.
Deadly.
Yeah.
So
Take
that
us
was
back.
yeah. I
Fucking
actually have a magazine inside. I'll show you before you go. One of the cars that was built. Just to give you an example of what he used to do. Like he was gifted.
All max power era. type
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And then he got into buying and selling the Jap cars, bringing them in. So like as soon as I could walk, I was kind of just driving just the Jap cars that I've drove when I was a kid. My job used to be to take them out of the garage. That was the big job for me.
You that as a Wayne, that's like the,
That'd have been very fucking cool.
Yeah, so I kind of I was just born into it, man. Like that's my weekends just consisted on
What
just
were the popular ones back then? Is it like your Skylines, your Twin
Skylines, yeah. So my first time going drifting, I have to show you this video as well. It's it'd be funny if you could actually cut it into this.
Oh,
it would
yeah.
be pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
So
we
it's
can make a TikTok
it's,
with stuff.
it's
Brilliant.
yeah. I was 13.
You were like, yeah, my name's Seamus.
Yeah, it's
and I'm
13. I
and
brought my
you
father's R34 Skyline into a field,
into a rough field now.
rough field, and I
Like a
was
GTSD?
yeah,
Yeah.
but no, it was crash repair, but it was still
It was still a good car.
back was slapped on it. But yeah, I went into the field then. I was just drifting around the whole field. I was right.
Send me that video. I will make that on
Yeah.
TikTok.
We thought a fucking Peugeot 106 was some going thing.
I had a Ford Fiesta.
Meanwhile, fucking Ricky Bobby
barely
was driving
see
an
it.
R34
Oh,
to
see it.
That's,
steering
so
wheel.
that's like basically how I started my venture into drifting. So I was kind of like, I was in the fields and stuff. Like I used to try and get out the back. So obviously Opel Amiga, first rear wheel drive car, welded diff, and that's where I started in the field then. But I had to take out the Skyline to make sure I had it in me first.
Yes. That's one way of figuring it out. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I started off, just so young. That's basically how I got into my father.
What was your first car?
My first ever car I bought was a little boxy Daihatsu I bought off my grandmother.
Like a Strad or something?
No, it's like a real boxy thing. It's tiny.
Like a wee car nearly?
Oh, it's just so small. It's a little Daihatsu something. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a matchbox. I bought it off my grandmother. That was my communion. I bought that off her for 50 quid because I was going to put tax and tea on it and sell it again to make a few pounds.
At like 8 years of age?
Yeah. I started this journey really young.
They start this young, like.
Well, that's the same as like, so you know Danny Toland?
Yeah.
So like literally we had Danny Toland on the last podcast and he is the exact same as you. He's like, yeah, no, whenever I was like, 13 I was buying and selling cars. I was like, fuck me.
Danny has every Sierra in the country, I believe, does he?
Yeah, he's something like 12 of them.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
crazy.
Where is it, like, I think at like 12 years of age I was just about figuring out like
years of puberty.
Why there's hair starting to grow in places that I've never before, like in your fucking
these guys are wheeling and dealing.
Why do I wake up camping every morning? What's going on?
So then, so it was a wee boxy Daihatsu.
When did you get your first Jap car / rear wheel drive?
So, my first Jap car.
Or
in general, or
probably on the road, because we could be talking for.
Well, we were talking about our story off camera, the one with the confirmation.
So that was my first Jap car. So basically, right, there was these team of brothers I was telling you about yesterday. I was on about that. These lads that started like Rose Green and all this stuff. So there's these group of brothers called the Kine brothers, and they were just known for twin cams. And even just in their friend group that hung around them, it was just all twin cams. And like these were living up the road from me. So as a kid, when it was raining, I'd go up, I'd stand in the rain for ages waiting on this corner, because I knew if I waited there long enough, they were coming up. They were going leaving, because when it was rained, that's what they done. They just went out, and then you just go up and wait by the roundabouts, and they'll just keep going up and down by the roundabouts. So I was just obsessed. And then my father borrowed one of their twin cams for my communion, and I just fell in love. I was like, I have to have one of these. So my father's not really a big gift man or anything like that. Never really buy that, and just never spoil it. I'd never believed in spoiling it. When I was younger, if I went in and asked him for something, he'd just show me where the door is and say, he'd be like, you may go get a job. So anyway, in fairness to him, I was just so obsessed with these cars. Then when I was 13, he came back from England one morning. He used to leave every weekend to go to England, just come back with these cars, 200SXs, 180s, whatever. He came back with this, it was a faded red over black Truno. I remember I woke up, I was fucking at a bunk bed in my room. I was facing the window, this car was just down there. I jumped up, ran down the stairs. I couldn't believe it. I seen this car went down, just smelling it. I was sniffing it and everything. I was doing some mad shit. Which surely me, just being so excited and young, opened the bonnet, looking at the engine, hadn't a clue what the fuck I was looking at, but I still don't know. Put the bonnet down, never closed it properly. On the way out to the garage, me and my father was going. My father had this big lovely surprise in his head built up. Coming along next minute, the bonnet flips open, smashes the windscreen, busts the roof, and father was just not happy. And I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. He's like, oh, it's grand, it's your car anyway. And I was like, what? And then so it's probably not how he planned on telling me, but it was like a mid-argument, like, don't want it was yours anyway, I don't care. But I was like, I was delighted. And how could I even be pissed off? It was all smashed up. I didn't care. I was delighted. I had a twin cam.
And then what happened to that car?
So that car came in. It was pretty much standard. And then at the time, this was Rose Green was big, and I just wanted to be a drifter. It's what I wanted to do. So the car had a half cage and stuff in it. So what we done was we got a hydro and stuff. Like I was working down the amusement park in Tremor time. So every single euro I had went into this car. And then just what I was doing, we put a 20 valve in it, just everything I had went into this car, and my plan was to start my drifting debut. Then unfortunately that car got burnt to the ground by vandals, so
I don't think there was any bad intended. It was just,
no, I don't think it was bad intended. It was just young fellas basically lit grass, old dried out grass on fire, and the grass spread over, caught onto the cover of the car, and the car burned to a crisp.
Kill me if something got happened.
Yeah.
I'd kill the person who done that.
Yeah, I have the pictures of it. I'll actually show you after. It's pretty shit. But from when that car burnt, I had nothing left. Only kind of like the whole front of the car burnt. I had the rear. All the rear axle was okay. The back wheels were okay, and the back tail lights and stuff. The fire brigade got down and got put out that much. Now, if it was now, I would have just rebuilt it, because now you can buy nearly all the panels new. But back then, sure, I didn't know, and we didn't have garages, we didn't have fuck all. So I just broke it for parts. So I always promised myself then I'd get another one. And
That's
so how long have you had this one now?
I've had this car since 2015, so what's that like?
What age were you?
9 years.
19.
19.
So I was filling the boys in earlier, I was telling them. So basically I was in phase 2 of my apprenticeship. If any of you are doing apprenticeships in phase 2, you'll know how little money you get. And think about back then, I think now it's actually not even that bad, is it?
No, it's not. I think it's like 350.
Kelly or Murphy Kelly was saying it's still shite.
Well, it's still not great, but
it's not great, but
it's relevant though to back then.
Yeah, it was terrible back then. I was telling the boys there that I got my money that week, that Friday, 190 whatever quid it was. I got a phone call saying that this car was there. Your man needed to shift it to fund fixing up his other car.
Yes.
So I went up. Used kind of all my money on petrol to get up there.
Where was it?
Up in just literally, the main entrance of Mandela.
Yeah.
Like 4 houses down from that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I test drove this car up the road, no insurance, no nothing on it. There were no bumpers on it or anything. I just came flying up this road in this twink. I was like, yes, this is mine. Like, I'm buying this with no money, no plan, no nothing. Your man didn't even want to take the deposit. I'd beg him to take the deposit. Then he wanted like 300 or 400 euro deposit. I was like, listen, bud, that's not going to cut it. So
you were telling him.
I was telling him.
It was his car.
Like, yeah, we've 100 euro and that's what we have to work with here. So I had to keep the rest of the money to get home. But yeah, no, I was kind of just hoping and praying that I get the loan. So I got the loan anyway. And here we are, 50 grand later.
So
that's
was she that
not
colour?
far cry off.
Was she that colour?
No, you can't really see it. See, there's a flag over there hanging.
It was white, wasn't it?
Oh, it was white.
Yeah, that's it, before I stripped it.
So when did you start the plan for the...
So I got this car. It was a bit beat up when I got it. I got it painted, bumper on it. Those wheels actually came on it. There was a full set. I repainted the inside.
Are they Meisters, are they?
Yeah.
Genuine Meisters?
Oh, yeah. Geez, S1.
SP1s.
S1s.
SP1.
Because SP1s are SSRs. But
SP1s
they're
have the
the
bolts.
replica, but real wheels, like, aren't
No,
they?
the SP1s have the bolts around them.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, okay.
But
They're
they're
the
genuine Meisters.
exact same
They're the
wheels.
same
Yeah.
as mine, yeah. Mine are the solid one piece.
Yeah.
Well, the 2 piece, yeah. We have the same wheels.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Anyways.
It's funny, like, you look back then and, like, kind of around that time, it was kind of sort of going off tangent slightly, but like Japanese split wheels back in like 2015 were worth nothing.
Yeah.
Like everyone wanted BBSs, like that sort of stuff, all the German stuff, and up north, like whenever I was doing all the stancy stuff, like the wheels we were buying was like OZs, BBSs, all that stuff. I'm paying big money, and you could get Japanese splits for like £500.
Yeah. Or else.
Now it's nearly the other way about.
Yeah, it's opposite now.
Alfred, Apollos, all that crap.
But even for split rims is what I'm saying. Like the Japanese
things
stuff
like,
was looked over.
if you go back to 2014, 15, things were so backwards. I swapped a genuine Altezza, full genuine Vertex kit from Japan with Works wheels for a B5.5 Passat on Halo wheels. Straight swap. So I had a black Altezza. I had a genuine Vertex body kit from Japan. Came in like this on Works. I can't remember exactly which Works wheels they were. I think it was HKS coilovers and stuff in it.
So big spec.
Big spec, yeah.
Big spec.
A friend of mine actually bought it in the boom for 25 grand or something like that.
Oh.
So he was the first owner of the car. So he bought it for like 25 grand. I paid 2.9 for it, and I thought I paid massive money. I was like shit, that's a lot of money for an Altezza. I was like, no, because no one wanted them. And I swapped it in for a 03 or 4. It could have been even 05, I can't remember. B5, kind of a weird champagne colour with cream interior.
Oh my god.
With no tow hitch. Straight swap, and I got the better end of that deal.
Well, probably did back then.
I did, yeah.
Realistically.
Oh, I did,
Story-wise, you had 2.9 in an Altezza, like, and you swapped it for a Passat.
And I think I got like 3.5 for the fucking Passat or something.
Yeah, like, I know now you'd be sick.
It's crazy now when you think about it, isn't it? But yeah,
Fucking hell.
I actually got
I'm actually in complete disbelief of that.
Yeah, sure. I have all the pictures to back it up. You can see the Altezza. The next picture is me in a B5.
And you delighted?
Yeah, buzzing.
Was that a PD?
Like
diesel?
Fucking clue, man.
Was it a diesel?
Surely,
diesel.
Surely was a 130 or something.
Yeah, it was 6-speed, so it probably would have
Oh,
been
130.
yeah.
Okay, God's
that makes it
That's
so...
the real God's engine. PD 130 diesel.
It just goes to show though, like how things so messed up things were. Like people were just like with wheels and stuff. Like I mean, I sold a set of SSR Star Sharks for like a pair of them for like 100 quid. You'd be lucky if you could find a pair now. Never mind.
Long champs.
I paid 2,000 for those long champs on the front.
But like back 10 years ago, you probably could have picked up long champs for like 300 quid.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Easily.
100%.
Boys didn't know what they were like.
No one had a clue. Didn't realise how good we had it, even with seats and stuff now. Like there's lads looking €800 for one seat now.
So I have, in my Sierra, I have Ricaros that come out of an Evo 7. I paid £150 for them seats.
Jesus.
Them same seats now are £900.
Yeah.
Like, and they're not even good. I wouldn't say they're great spec Ricaros.
Yeah.
They're trend lines.
They're trend lines, yeah. They're not.
Same seats as my Premier Edition Type R.
Oh, we've been interrupted.
Well, Darryl, right.
So yeah, that's common occurrence.
Yes, fair. That's character.
Yeah, that's just people just come and go in and out of the shed all day.
So paint was the first thing you done the 86?
Yeah, painted it white, with bottom half of the bumpers black, ran no side skirts, kind of like an old Jap look.
Yes.
I gave the car absolute hardship for a while.
As if you still don't, but anyway.
Yeah, as if I'm not. So I gave the car absolute hardship. Then I got a paint touched up again because I just kept wrecking it. And then after that, I decided. No, actually, there's a more truer part to that story. I don't know. There's much guards watch a podcast, right?
Just say it's in a private road.
Aye, you were
It's so not the story for this podcast, so it's so not private.
Cut it out if need to.
We've had other stories.
Yeah, this is probably not a great one. I'll tell you anyway. You can cut it out.
Yeah, fuck it.
And that's
If it's worth keeping, I'll keep it.
Don't cut it out.
Don't put it on.
Don't cut it out.
Okay, so allegedly,
Allegedly, is right.
Allegedly, that man who just walked out that door and me were allegedly us were out exploring the Port Road. And
define the Port Road, because I hear you guys talking about it all the time.
The Port Road is Ebisu for Waterford. That's the only way I can describe it.
Quite niche, but okay.
Yeah, but that's what it is to us. Do you get
the
me?
main road down to Port, so there's no normal traffic.
It's
literally
it's for lorries coming in and out, so it's like triple lane.
Very wide road.
Yeah, so basically, like if you look at Japan where they all drift, it's all for lorries, so that's why the roads are so wide.
You see a lot of the docks and stuff like that.
It is basically a dock, so they literally at the end of the at the end of the Port Road, like you have all the big ships come in, all the container ships and stuff.
So the only thing so when you're drifting under the night, there's no normal traffic. It's just lorries.
You just need to watch the lorries.
So it's not going to be as busy as any other road. Like you're not going to have a car, and because it's so straight. See where we come out. There's a top junction and a bottom junction, and you link in between. So the road you can see straight for 500 or 600 meters. Whoever's watching the cross. So
is that what you used to do? You just getting walkie-talkies?
Yeah,
allegedly.
Yeah,
allegedly. Yeah.
So on this alleged night, so two lads apparently came around the corner, and there was a squad car there.
Oh,
so. The two cars had to get away, and when you get to the top of the Port Road, there's a roundabout. There's a dual carriage either way, and the guards had the roundabout blocked. So these two certain lads had to go the wrong way up the dual carriageway with guards on the opposite side. So the guards were blocking like the normal side of the road, but these two fellas went the wrong way up, and the wrong way around the next roundabout, and the wrong way down the next road to avoid them all. They got a good distance away. They turned off for a back road, and then allegedly the fella driving the twin cam snapped his throttle cable, and could see all the blue lights coming and stuff. So ripped up his cardboard, jammed it into the throttle body, so wedged the throttle up fully. So when it started up, the car just and I was like, or he was like, not me, like I had no choice but to go, and you can't leave off, you can't control the throttle.
You were driving it off the clutch, like just wide open throttle.
That person was driving it off the clutch.
That person. So, and apparently a friend of theirs had a tyre shop 2 towns over, so he was going to have the roller door open, so they had a small window to get there. So they had to drive really hard and really fast to get there, and drive up through a town with the throttle winding out off the limiter. And there was guards everywhere looking for these cars everywhere. And 2 cars had to be painted a different colour.
Wow.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, so that's...
So somehow this ended up in purple.
Yeah,
by sheer coincidence.
Yeah. By coincidence, this car ended up purple, and his car ended up purple as well. I don't know why, but...
This car was pink, wasn't it?
It was pink.
Allegedly.
It
would have been hard to find.
It was pink, but to change it up, he mixed it to purple. 2 cars got taken off the road basically for hibernation. So that was in hibernation for 5 years. Got stripped to a bare shell. And I just got fucked around with panel beaters and stuff. Oh my god.
Lift your mic.
I'm looking at him at the fucking window.
Lift it up small bit.
Is there like a
Lift it way up, higher.
Come on.
Go ahead, that's it.
No, tighten it in there.
No, it's grand there now.
Right.
No. So yeah, this car has been in for 5 years, just getting fucked around with panel beaters. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Like, give the car to a lad, and he said, "I'll be done next week." We've done the week after. Then it went on to years. So ended up having to take it out of where it was. It was there for like 2 years. Then I was already after spending 2 years previous stripping it down, getting the bits of welding done on it and stuff like that. And then I gave it to a well-known panel beater called Jackie Fitz. He does like a lot of kind of high-end cars and stuff. He just fitted, thank God he did, just through a mutual friend. He came down and looked at it and said, look, I can slot it into this time slot. It's not going to be cheap, but it'll be done within 4 or 5 weeks. That was it then, brought up to him, he painted it. The engine bay was actually going purple, and then I was like, do you know what, I was like, that's a really nice colour. And then I was like, there was black on a colour card, and I kind of held it up to the engine bay, and I was like, purple over black. I was like, that actually looked really nice. Then I was told not to do it because it was too bold of a move.
See that shit.
But the thing is, though, for real, you know, the hardcore, genuine twin cam, they'd probably hate that.
I see it. I get
and I know
it.
it's your car.
You're talking to someone who gets constant shit from Ford
painted?
Pierce.
Yeah.
I know all about it. Fuck them. Below them.
He painted 2 years ago.
Longer, I'd say, is it?
No, 2 years ago. Because I had to get it. Because I said, because remember I was saying, after I gave $7,500 to get the car painted, and then I just got it painted before Donegal again.
Holy fuck.
Oh yeah.
No, boy, nothing got to do with your manner, and just by me being pure, just harsh. Just, yeah, and you won't mind, right, if you actually look around the car, everything I got painted before Donegal is all broke again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I got to freshen up. I was like, we'll get it spotless going to Donegal, and then I went up. And
You literally went to King of the Cone.
I know, yeah, but so it's broke again.
But sure, look, that's what they're meant for.
Yeah.
What engine was in the car originally?
4AG ZE supercharged, and it was actually a really fun engine. It's just when I took it out, I knew that engine could never go back into the car because the wiring was so cut and botched. Because those Japanese lads just do mad stuff. So whatever way they done it, I took it out and I was like, this car will never run again if I put this back in. So I ended up turboing that engine, fully built it. Car made, I think it was up like 280 horsepower or something like that.
4AGE?
Yeah, 4AG ZE. Now, she had aftermarket cams, pulleys, port and polished head.
Pistons or rods?
Yeah, they're forged from factory.
Oh, because it's a ZE.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So she ran around the Link ECU and stuff, had a turbo off a 180SX.
T25?
Yeah, so it was it made good power, I just couldn't get comfortable in it. I couldn't drive it. Just could not. I couldn't sit on limiter, so it wasn't for me.
because it would put the temperature hand just way up whenever.
Yeah, I brought it to Mondello once and went on fire on me. So
Yeah,
literally.
there's still fire extinguisher when you turn on the vents. You still,
The dust
dust off fire extinguisher into the car.
I went out for 86 Festival. My first, the car was only built a couple of weeks. I was so happy to get out. Went out, reddened the car, reddened it too hard. The whole fucking thing went on. The fire started.
I already live in fear of that.
Yeah.
Fire is the worst.
Yeah, so
fire is the worst thing that can happen to a car.
the turbo blanket, that's fire heat, ended up going on fire for some reason.
Did you have did you buy like a Funk Motorsport one? Or was it an eBay special?
No, it was a branded one. It wasn't, I don't think it was Funk.
Thermal Zero or maybe something?
I know, but it was definitely a branded one because it said 100% fireproof. Now, that's not to say that there wasn't fucking, like, shit on it that caught fire, you know. And it wasn't just that, it was like the pipes coming out for the AC and stuff, they have like foam kind of a collar around them and stuff.
Yeah.
So the fire just kind of just went straight inside the car. And luckily enough, we got it out in time. We actually drove it back into the pits before we put it out.
I'm sure you couldn't. If you left it out on track, it would have just gone up.
Yeah, so drove it in.
Oh, so you thought by driving it, like the wind getting at it would...
Well,
Yeah, I actually don't think I thought at all. I just drove it.
They need to get the car into the pits.
So yeah, we put it in, put it out, took the bonnet off, started back up, said right, let's push it for the rest of the day. So we just drove with no bonnet for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Just so it'd cool a bit better. But after that, I brought it back and pulled the engine out of it the next day. I said, nope, not for me. So I bought a 20 valve out rally car.
Right, yes.
And I've been absolutely reddening that ever since.
Can't confirm.
Confirm. So
I've seen you drive
even yesterday, that poor engine has just had the hardest year.
She's getting a bit tired now.
Yeah, or 2 years now. No, a year. How long is the engine? Just over a year. The poor car has just had such a hard time since I put the engine in it because it never comes off limiter.
It sounds fucking
Yeah, it
class.
sounds mean.
It's so throaty.
But
I got a real good video yesterday coming in Mondello and the conditions in Mondello yesterday, and I don't may sound like a dick when I say this, but they're perfect for a car like that.
Yeah.
It was wet, it was greasy. You were coming around the top corner, left foot braking.
Yeah.
You'd seen me going out. I think you'd spotted me with the camera.
Yeah.
And it was literally just, there's
the car was just sitting on
and
the
you were
limiter.
literally throwing her big angle, and I was just like,
Oh yeah, sure.
Yes.
Like if you actually looked at the drift class that was out yesterday, I was the only road car out in the drift class yesterday.
I think road drift cars really.
Like when I was in the lineup to go out, it was funny. It's just like all IDC Pro Spec cars in front of me and behind me, and I just there fucking.
That's why I want to go
chilling out with my car.
Road legal drifter.
Yeah, and a lot of people got in the car all thought it was a drift car, and I was like, no, I have to drive this 2 hours home after.
That's what you actually said to me another time. You're like, yeah, look, we drive to events and drive them home, and I was just like, that's fucking mad, because I know whenever I eventually get to Mondello, whenever I get mine mapped again and running, like, I'm sitting thinking, fuck, I have to drive 2.5, 3 hours to Mondello as well, like, and I'm just thinking, I couldn't think of nothing worse than going to Mondello, busting a half shaft or something like that there, and having to get it trailered back.
I think the problem is we can't afford a trailer between us. We
We don't trailers either.
Yeah, we just don't have them, and well, besides Connor, we don't have. Even if I could afford a trailer in the morning, like we or what I put, I can't even fit all my cars into the shed. Definitely can't fit a trailer now.
I think as well, like when you're, it's grand sharing a trailer, but like everyone wants a trailer at the same time. Then.
Correct. It's the same
it's
day.
kinda
Everybody
messy,
needs a trailer. What you need to do is go and buy one of them Polish trailers, where you can fit like 2 cars on.
Yeah.
And then,
like, there's grand for a breakdown, because hopefully you won't all break down together. But it's just if everyone wanted to bring their car to an event, well, who gets the trailer then?
that's actually not a bad way of doing it, though. That the van basically follows up the trailer.
Yeah,
basically
that's the
follows
way.
up the
That's the
road.
way I would do it, because even yesterday, my car was actually losing. I was watching my oil pressure drop as I was driving to Mondello.
That's worrying.
That is quite worrying.
I was not worried at all, actually. I was like, you'll be alright. If you start worrying, then you'll start panicking, then you're just it'll upset your driving, and then it'll just be a big effect. The whole thing will be an effect, because then you'll be out. Yeah, it will be, because you'll be out and you'll be panicking, you'll be checking.
Tell me this, you run a Link.
Link ECU.
Do you have an oil pressure sensor? Because I've literally just bought one for mine. Do you have an oil pressure sensor that basically runs through the ECU like a 0 to 5 volt signal or something? So basically,
Could not tell you.
No, yours.
You're not a wiring man.
His is just to a gauge because my car was the same. I have a link as well.
Yeah, sorry. For the oil pressure, I just have a gauge because that's the way I had it originally.
Yes.
And that still works now. With the Link ECU, you can pull up the laptop and probably see everything you want.
That's what I'm going to do.
But I don't even have
I'm actually in the process. I had gauges, but my car, I've Link as well, and I never had the sensors through the ECU, so I'm Keane Walsh is taking my car. He's meant to be taking it next week, and I'm going running a fuel pressure sensor, water temp, and oil pressure all through the ECU. So if anything happens, cuts it.
So I don't really care so much about oil temperature. I have a gauge for oil temperature, oil pressure, water temperature, etc. And AFR. I have all that.
I have an AFR too.
I'm putting a new gauge into mine. I might have to take the whole inlet manifold and everything out of her to do it. Is put an oil pressure sender unit in.
Yeah.
Basically 0 to 5 volt, and basically if she drops below 30 psi, cuts her.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
it's just pure safe, like.
Yeah, my car doesn't do that. It'll cut it with the heat.
Water temp is done through, yeah.
It has the water temp on, but like I was just watching it yesterday, and I was like, oh fuck's sake! Now you can actually see wrote on the wall over there. See, there's like a list of numbers between 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
That's actually my that's my compression. It's not great.
No.
So after Donegal, we dropped. You seen it
was 190 something when he put in the engine across all four.
That's why you're saying it's a bit tight.
When I was in the final of King of the Cone, I actually popped the front cam seal. That's why I slipped and hit the cone. Just for anyone watching.
That's funny,
So we popped.
Anyways.
We actually it actually popped as we were driving off the slab, and I literally pulled up outside, and there was just a fucking
he goes to me. He goes, I think the car's leaking oil, and I was like, drive forward. I'm not messing now. There was a puddle on the floor, like half the size of that table there, of oil. I was like,
that's not a leak.
I was like, oh, he's after throwing a rod or something.
Yeah,
now,
so we didn't know what was going on, and then we spotted the seal was hanging out, but Connor just shoved it back in and it held enough
to get
us to. Actually, it held enough. We got back to the hotel, and then we just cleaned it out, dried it down. But it just managed to seal enough to get us home. Now it was still weeping, but we got home.
Connor, you've mentioned about your car, and I'm conscious we've spent a lot of time talking about Seamus here. And
Sorry.
Obviously sitting here too.
It's Ricky Bobby.
Shake it big. You're the magic man then. Talladega Nights reference. Connor, so you're obviously in the cars here too.
Yeah.
What's your involvement? Like, how did you come up through the ranks and all? Seamus sort of said he got you addicted to cars. Sounds of it.
I was kind of the opposite, as in where he was born into cars, I wasn't. I was always obviously tractors.
I think it's a rite of passage though.
It is. And then I was bikes. Yeah. Then I was bikes, and big into bikes still. I have a couple of bikes. But what happened then, me and Shamfitz were working for the same company, and I was a first-year apprentice, and he was just, you were qualified. And we ended up working together. And the very first day, we didn't even know each other really, but I knew he lived like 10 minutes away. Mm-hmm. So we were put on the same job.
Okay.
And he goes, sure, you meet me at my house and I'll drive. It's like grand. So pulled up to his house, and there is the brown SR20 twin cam that his father owned. He was driving that, and I was like, now obviously I didn't have cars, but I was like, I had done up golf or whatever. I knew what I was like, this is Scott in this anyways.
This is an XD1 car.
Yeah, I think
it's an X1D1 car. You're driving as a daily.
Yeah.
You had it for the summer.
That's a fucking flex.
Yeah.
That is quite flex.
D1 street legal, like one of them old car.
No, the proper D1 car. Like
you just turn it into a road car.
Yeah, we just threw a few more body panels in because they're not really strict with the NCTs on these cars. So
really,
oh yeah, once because there's no emissions and shit. So once you have lights and indicators, you're kind of pretty sound.
What was?
I always thought NCT was a real bastard.
Yeah, so this was a proper D1 car, and I decided that I wanted just to show the apprentice a good time. So I said,
what a way to be introduced into.
So I brought him to work in this car, and
on the way actually, so the drive there was obviously unreal, but on the way back, I remember he was kind of wanting to show me what this could do. There's a main road from
allegedly.
This is another dual carriageway, but there was 4 lanes, and the whole weight in the bone dry, like I mean into the hard shoulder on either side of this road, the car up the road. I have a video on my phone, and I was just in awe. And then ever since then, we were just kind of hanging around, and they had a shed out in the airport, and I started coming to the shed. I still just had, like, as every farmer did, a done-up Golf. And
what, Mark IV?
No, it was a Mark 6 Golf.
Oh,
he's a posh farmer. Different.
One of Kearney there, one of the lads, he had an E36, just a 320i E36, and he was selling for cheap. Sham was like, oh, you should buy that. And I bought that then, and that was kind of my first real drive. And Sham at the time had an Altezza as well, so he kind of taught me the ropes and that. Crashed it a couple of times, didn't do any damage, but you know, not crashed now, but like spun out on the road into a ditch. But that was kind of what that car was for. Yeah. So I had the E36 then for, I'd say, 6 months. And I was just doing a few bits of that, and then Sham said to me one day, do you want to buy an S14? And I was like, what how am I going to buy an S14?
Yeah,
and
that was good.
He was
Don't
like,
think about it, just do it.
He was like, it's $2,500. And I was like, what? And I was like, sure, it must be fucked. And he was like, we're going out. Do you want to buy it? He's like, you're coming now. So that was grand. We went out to...
It was pacing. All you mean to say.
It was lashing, right? And I'm real, like, anxious where Sham just doesn't care. If I hear anything in my car, I'm real. And I was like, going out to this car, I was like, oh, I don't know now. Now, it was only $2,500, but still, I was like, we went out in the piss and rain anyways. It was me, Sham, and Adam. And Sham stayed in the car because he wouldn't get out in the rain. This car was up in a recovery. It was a bog standard UK S14, like standard wheels, nothing done to it.
And the engine wasn't even in it, was beside it.
The engine was beside it and box. And I went up to the car, it was on the recovery. I reached my hand in under the sill and just pulled out the sill. This was rotten.
Like
and I was like, oh, I don't know. And I just turned around and Sham was in the car. But sure, realistically, even...
Because I was trying to tell him, I was like, man, it's like the engine and gearbox has to be worth $2,500.
Yeah, it was at the time. So I got it anyways then, and that's kind of where it started. It was in your shed for probably a year. Yeah, we were just doing rust.
Same again, stripped it down and just went out.
And I learned as we built the car, and then I had the car built probably after a year and a half, and I just had basic... The car was painted grey, done all that, and I still had the standard SR just with a S15 turbo, S15 injectors, Link ECU, and it was making about 300 horsepower. And the car, I always said, the car was lovely at that power. I learned to properly drift in that car.
Yes.
I learned the ropes, and then we went to Donegal in it, and went to Donegal, and on the way back from Donegal, I heard a rattling in the car, and I was like, what is this?
Oh, fuck no.
So I got back home anyways, and the car was idling there. You could hear a rattling, sounded like the bottom end, and I was like, oh no. So I said, look, it was a standard SR that was beside this car in the field for how long? The car was parked for 10 years. I said, look, I got a year out of it. It's time to do it. But when I took it apart then, I took out the engine, and I started stripping the engine. I think I had the head off the engine. And I was looking at the bottom. I had the head off the engine, and the bottom end was there, and the engine mounts were still on it. And I was looking at the engine mounts. I had hard race engine mounts in it, and there's a metal ring on top of the engine mount that had broken off and was rattling on the engine mount, and that's what the rattling was. So the engine was actually perfect.
Well, actually not a sickener, but sickener that you had to go through taking the engine and all that.
I was like, a prank.
But when I got to that stage, I was like, oh, sure, look, I'll do a head gasket and head bolts, and then. As everything, I just went full balls to the wall, and I fully built. So fully built that engine, spent nothing. I went full radium fuel rail injectors.
Oh, you were going.
I went Walton manifold, Garrett G25 550.
CP pistons.
Yeah, CP pistons, Manley rods, ACL, like fully built. Went down to John Allen down in Kerry.
Allegedly. It wasn't alleged because it did.
Yeah, so that was built. I got Martin Tracy up in Mead there. He done all the machine work, and I assembled the engine. Look, I had built bike engines before. I never built a car engine, but I was like, how hard can it be? There's literally, go onto YouTube. There's tutorials how to build an SR20.
Yeah, but
fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
But no, but I knew how to build a bike engine, just never done a car. It's all it's bolt, nuts and bolts. That everyone says, oh, build an engine, but once the machine work was done and I knew the machine work was okay, all it was putting stuff together.
It's just checking tolerances and stuff. And
so
for me, I kind of tend to forget the tight and stuff.
Yeah, but I done all that, and Sham will tell you, I am like.
He'll do it 5 or 6 times.
Like you're just OCD.
I just put an impact gun on it and say mint.
So I done that and gave it down to John Allen, and the car was an absolute antichrist. Made 452 horsepower.
Did for a week.
So that was grand. He mapped the car, whatever. We actually drove the car up to the NCT back, put maybe 200 miles in it, grand, and then Juicebox kind of have an annual barbecue meeting that we went to.
Never been invited. Not better about it at all.
We went to that, and I was down. The car was kind of ran in then, so we're down allegedly at the big roundabouts on the way to New Ross, and I said, right, may as well, it's time to drive it on. Allegedly done a couple of roundabouts in it. That was grand. Was driving back towards Waterford, sitting in Ferrybank at the traffic light, and next thing, this plume of white smoke just passed me up, and I was like, whose car is that? Drove up the road.
And I wasn't beside him, so
I was like, no, white smoke ever. I was like, oh, what's going on? So I went back home, checked over everything, couldn't see anything wrong with the car. The white smoke kind of cleared. So then the next day I drove it again, and it was a bit bare, but it was still blowing white smoke.
We had a charity run the next day.
So I said I'd drive it, and the lads can drive behind me. And I drove on the car, and they said, yeah, it's still a bit smoky, but the car was driving fine. So then, anyway, long story short, done a head gasket checking it basically. She was building pressure in the rad, so I said, must have popped a head gasket. How, I don't know, because it's a steel head gasket, blah, 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 ARP studs. Pulled the head off the car. All the pistons on the exhaust side were all after melting away. And I was like, what is after going on here? So I got on to Martin Tracy, who'd done all the machine work, and he said, that's detonation. He said, too much timing in the car. And I said, how would that happen? And he was like, the map. And I thought about it then. I was like, the car made 452 horsepower on 1.3 bar boost, which is not a lot, on Irish fuel now, remember.
So because that's what I was going to ask. It was definitely mapped for 95
Well, yeah, it was, because that's all that was ever in the car.
Yeah.
So then I got new pistons. The block was savable, got the head skimmed again. So new pistons, and built it again, and I was like, who am I going to go to? And I'd been down with Keane Walsh a few times with other lads of cars, and he said he's the man. Went down to Keane, and how I really knew it was the map was when Keane was mapping the car, he said he had to take 15 degrees of timing out of the map.
Jesus Christ, she was pre-igniting like mad.
So he said...
The pistons are actually up on the wall up there. You should have a look up after.
Yeah, in that box, I'll show you them.
And that's a set of CP pistons.
Yeah. Proper, like... And everyone was
detonated.
like to me, it's because you built your own engine. And then that just proved, no, it wasn't. It was the map.
Shame on you.
It was like, no. John Allen is demand... Well, look, some people have... Look, everyone will say what they say about their own tuner, but that's just my experience with them. So Keane mapped the car, and I'm after doing about 2,000 miles since. And this will show how good of a tuner Keane is. I got rid of, she was a VVT SR, it was the S14 engine, but because I have big cams, the VVT gears don't like it.
It's not the job you did a VVT.
It's 500 quid for a gear, so I got rid of it. Keane made 437 horsepower with minus 15 degrees of timing that John had. He added, so it was 1.3 bar, making 452. Keane made 437 with no VVT, 15 degrees left timing, less timing, and 1.5 bar boost. So I was like, that is a tuner right there.
That's a far safer car.
He said that the car is like really, really safe. Because as I said, I told him I don't care if it makes 350 horsepower.
Yeah.
I want it safe. So that was the start of the summer. Brought it up to Donegal, drove it. I actually wanted to do that track day yesterday, but like I said, I'm waiting for Keane to put in the sensors through the ECU. I didn't want to risk it because it would be my luck now. Something silly would happen.
I'm the same.
I'm waiting to do a track day, but thank God now, fingers crossed, it's going brilliant ever since. So yeah, that's my car anyways.
Some car.
Yeah.
Your Donegal weekend went slightly better than mine. I had the car up the road, and she melted the lines running, melted the plugs running to the fuel pump.
Your car done the same?
My car done the same on the way home.
Melted, literally, as in the wee probe.
The plug going into the...
Yes.
I swear, my car done the same thing. We left Letterkenny. Dawson blew a tyre in the 180, just coming out the dual carriageway. We pulled in, and then I went to start my car again, no fuel pressure. And I was like, what's going on?
As me.
So I went to the back, and the only thing I had done is I'd taken my wheels out of the back to give Dawson a spare wheel. And I thought I must have moved the wire. So I wiggled the wires in the fuel pump, and the car, you could hear it priming then. So I was like, grand. Brought it home anyway, same. Plug on the fuel pump, melted.
Did it give you a serious scare when you seen how melted it was?
And it drove the whole way home. I'll show you the pictures. I could not believe it.
Yeah, I'll show you.
That's mad that happened to your car too.
Do you know what annoys me more? And Seamus just fucking proves this theory, and it's the same as Danny Toland and all them boys as well. See the boys that don't give a fuck?
Oh,
None. No bother.
His car.
Just fucking cam seal pops out. Just push it back in.
Yeah. If that was me, I'd be like, no, I need a recovery trailer up here. I'm not driving the car.
I'm not hard in my car, like, because like when I had the big Holset turbo on it, I couldn't give her any real shit because she just started to run warm.
Yeah.
So I had a big ignorant Holset turbo, but I had her mapped for 95er on as well.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even map it for super because I wanted it safe.
Yeah.
So it was safe and made 420 horsepower or whatever as well.
What I think happened to my car in Donegal is I serviced it before I went.
That's why your car gave you bother, because he started to care about it.
Do you know what happened is I left the magic out of it. I took out that old oil. I left the magic straight out. That's what happened.
And your car didn't even, like, the thing is...
I had a bad feeling as soon as I serviced it. I said, this is not good.
It is all the
If your car is not low on oil, well, don't service it. It's my advice.
Before Donegal last year, my big Holset blew.
After you serviced it?
After I serviced it. I had it jacked up. I serviced it on the Tuesday, drove it to work on the Wednesday, going real well. Thursday, I put it back up in the lift and started looking around it just to check a few things, and the next thing lifted just went, why is there blue smoke coming out of the back of my car? Connor lands in, well, are you excited about Donegal?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. I just paid someone to clean my car for Donegal last year, and yeah, you put it up, and we're like, fucking serious.
Give it a rev there. New Pope.
I'm telling you, like, it's proven, right? When we were in Japan, these lads were pulling these cars out of the ditches, like cars have been there 5-6 years, right? And one fella went to check the oil, another fella come over and he said, whoa, he said, do not leave the magic out of that car.
Okay, you're brought up Japan.
Yeah, so basically he's like, what you have to do is start it and slap it off the limiter straight away. And that's how you keep the magic in. And I'm a firm believer in this. So if you check that dipstick, or you open the fucking oil cap on the rockers, you leave that magic out.
He actually has me saved as Connor dipstick in his phone, because I check my car for oil every single time before I drive.
I do that, yeah.
So yeah,
that's
just...
Well, it's just natural then.
Yeah, and if
a Honda that doesn't burn oil is a bad Honda.
If you need to put oil in your car, what you do is you take off the cover, but you have to do it really quickly, not to leave out any magic, and you just get the oil in and pop it back on. It should be sound.
So talking about Japan then, well, how, why, when, what, why?
I don't even...
So basically, since obviously I have been a carhead my whole life, I grew up watching option DVDs, which you'll see my 180 outside is very inspired by that. So that's why I grew up just watching this and just being obsessed with Japan, absolutely obsessed. Always wanted to go, could never afford to go. It's just so expensive. And then I got a phone call off a buddy of mine, Connor. He has a chaser over there, and he was actually off work sick, and he was watching the videos, and he was like, how would you feel about coming over to Japan, getting some footage, because number one, it's footage for him that he has, number two, it's experience for us. So I was like, and he was like, look, we get you a couple of spins in cars, or just that and the other. We can share the costs, rental cars, hotels, everything. So I was like, right. So then I was like, look, can you work it out and kind of get back to me with a figure? So he worked it all out, and he was like, look, you will do it for $3,000 all in, flights, everything. So
that's okay.
It's not bad.
So I rang Connor. I was like, would you go to Japan? And he was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. I was like, I need to know now though. I was like, because
I was just there like,
I said
we never talked about this.
We're going pre-booking the hotels, because you don't have to pay a deposit. You can just book them there and then. So we were pre-booking everything. He was booking the rental cars, everything. So yeah, just kind of just agreed to it. It was all got booked up that day. Me and Connor didn't have the money for the flights, but we had everything else. We had the hotels booked. We had no money for flights though. So we kind of, I mean to say, if you've seen the day we were booking the flights, we were skimping our money together. He's like sent me all his money, and we put all our money together, and then like I was short, so I had to text one of the other boys, and I was like, here, any chance you can send me like 120 quid? And I think you had to get
a loan off my mother.
He'd get a loan of like an extra 90 quid just so we could have, because like when we were going through the checkout, like it was the price. The price is never what it is at the start. Like by the time you get to the end of the checkout, it's always
there's add-ons,
all the little sneaky ones. So we had enough money at the start, and by the time we got to the checkout, we didn't have enough money, so we had to literally.
I'm literally halfway through getting this flight, please.
Yeah, so we literally scrounged, like, just like some people get the wrong impression from us when they see all the cars and stuff. They're like,
I'm
oh,
the same.
these
Don't
lads,
broke.
these lads must have money. It's like, what
This
are you
is why I don't have money.
I
talking about?
live
I
in
do,
overdraft.
like,
None of us have money.
I
No.
live in overdraft.
Yeah.
Like, I have a real good banter with Santander
Yeah.
like, about this.
but yeah, no, that's the way we are. Like, and we booked those flights that day. We're not like we were going to work that week. We had no money for lunch that week.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh look, we'll just figure it out. It'll be fine. We had the flights done, so all we needed then was a bit of spending money.
Yeah.
And up to a week before leaving for Japan, I still didn't have €1 saved because everything was just fighting against me. And I was like, what in God's name am I going to do? And then I had to take a small loan off one of the lads, even just to have enough money to go out there. Now, you could have done Japan cheaper than what we did. Now, you could. I think you could vary. $3,000, I think, would have really.
It would,
you could
yeah.
have. Now, it's not expensive over there.
It's not?
It's very cheap.
No,
Really?
Jesus.
Really cheap.
I
Hotels
always
and
thought
all
the
that.
We
price in
drank.
Japan was insanely expensive.
I'm not messing.
No.
There's not one day we didn't drink in Japan. We drank every single day, constantly.
Pints were, what were they, €1 something or €2?
So I went to 7-Eleven in the morning. I could get a coffee, food, and then you get snacks for the day, box of fags, a lighter, some Red Bull, and I think if you were €5 or €6.
Oh,
I paid
is-
$8.15
Yeah.
for a bottle of water and a fucking 4-piece fry and a Boost chocolate bar
Yeah,
in Mooncoin this morning.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
It is the most expensive part is flights. Flights are expensive. We paid £1,800. Now we got premium economy.
which I recommend premium economy all day.
Yeah.
I
But
know
more
I'm
than
real
that, is
miserable.
it?
See, when it comes to flights,
No.
I will grin and bear. I
Not
will
when
do
you're
it.
sitting on a plane for 14
No,
hours.
trust
I've
me.
done it.
Is it
I've
more
done it
room
to go
or
to
what?
Thailand.
Premium economy?
Yeah.
Yeah, more room. You get your food first and stuff like that.
When I went to Thailand, it was a 12-hour flight from Paris, and on the way over there was like nobody in the plane, and I got chatting to some fella from down the country who was also a dairy farmer, and he was going out to see a mate, and I was like, I'm just going up into the row behind, there's like nobody behind us,
Yeah.
and I was like, no bother, 4 seats to myself,
Well, if it works out,
slept
it's
the
okay.
entire, and I was like, this is great, home flight, fully booked,
Oh, yeah.
and I was sitting in a middle row,
Nothing worse.
couldn't sleep, and I was
No, I
just
couldn't.
like,
That's why I'm glad.
is shit.
I'm glad we paid. It was, and to be fair, it was only an extra 300 or 400.
It was
quid.
€400, but
Yeah.
that was between a flight there and back. So it's only
Like,
extra
so,
200 quid
yeah.
each way.
And the room we had was grand, and like
Slept
the
grand.
chairs reclined out pretty good. Now it is such a tough flight. Like I just remember just going to sleep, waking up, thinking you're asleep for ages, waking up, and you're only like asleep for half an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I just watching that fucking plane move,
Yeah.
and
And hearing the
once
noise, the
again
ambient
once
noise.
again back to my theory. We're here, Japan is here. It's only that far. Why is it taking this long? And then I was getting really crafty on it because you can zoom out on the
He
globe,
was
right?
watching the plane
Now,
across the globe and
this is my theory as well. If that might gonna hold on.
up.
Right, you hold it. I'm trying to explain this theory to the boys. You're gonna have to hold this. Right. So I was looking at the map, right, and it's like Ireland is here, and Japan is here, right? And I said, "Sure, fuck me." I said, "It'd be faster to go the other way. Why are we going this way?" And this is why I don't understand. I was looking at, if you actually look at the globe, right, and you know when you zoom out, it looks way faster to go this way. So why are you always going? Why do you always go the long way? This I can't figure this out. I cannot figure. If you get a globe, right, it's like Ireland's here and Japan is like back here. Sure, why can't you just go that way? It's like
I literally,
way faster.
I explained this to you already. I showed you that it's not faster.
I still think it's
It's
faster.
11 hours to get to LA from Dublin.
Is it?
It's 11 hours in a plane.
Yeah, and then you have to fly from there. Oh, like your theory just doesn't make sense.
If you zoom out on the map, you'll get me. And some people will agree with me.
What time of the year did you go?
We went in April.
It was in Masuri, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I remember
April this
seeing
year.
that. Because like
Yeah.
all the big YouTubers were there, and then obviously the biggest of the lot of them, you guys, were also there.
Yeah, we were sure. I was fucking in Grant Anderson. He's another YouTuber. You see him.
yeah.
I just walked
He's
over.
actually such a nice guy.
Yeah, I walked over. I see Grant absolutely swinging out of his car, and I just walked over to him. I was like, "Well, you all right?" And he's like, "Oh, I can't get this." There was a yoke in the petrol tank, a bit of
Oh yeah, the hanger. He's trying to get the hanger down. And
Yeah, he couldn't. So I just went in there, just, you know me now, big fabricator and all. Just went in and absolutely yeeked it out. But like, it wasn't, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, this would be such a great opportunity to maybe say, oh,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Whenever you were over.
He took out his camera and he was like recorded me doing it, and I was like, oh, maybe I should just like say, oh, you could maybe try out our channel, but it just, I don't know, it's because no one was a big deal over there. Like no one, it's everyone was so normal. Like you had TJ Hunt was there,
Shamfitz, all them.
and who was the other fellow with the real American guy? Remember, we were drinking with him in Dublin in that hotel.
Oh, I can't think of his name.
I can't remember, it'll come to me, but he's another really big YouTuber.
That Rice or Miata guy, isn't it? The curly hair.
Yeah.
What's his name? Rudnick.
Yeah, Chris Rudnick.
Yeah.
So like there was just like everyone was just out with their cameras and stuff, but no one was.
It's really not. It's like going to Mondello. Everyone is like, you could go up and be talking to these big YouTubers.
No, but what I find in Mondello as well, you, even though we're used to the camera, you still get awkward at times. Like sometimes you just 100%. Like you be holding up and you're like, oh fuck, I was like, I don't want to throw up this through this crowd with my camera. But over there, just
no hassle.
No one says nothing.
I think they're all as excited to be there as like the likes of you. So like at Mondello, like I know at the stage of Dave Egan, if someone was trying to speak to him at Mondello, he's been there that many times, the magic's probably gone.
Yeah.
Whereas he's at the Missouri, he's excited going, I'm drifting in the Missouri, and you're in the car behind him going, I'm fucking drifting in the Missouri. There's that magic as you talk about compared to
it's a different world.
It's like none of the people are like, oh, is it going to be as good as you expect? It's just amazing. Like I'm looking back at the videos of us over there. It's not like none of the way you'll be really excited for something. Sometimes with the likes of Donegal and all that, you'll be really excited, and then it doesn't live up to our expectations. Or last year was better.
Yeah, it was definitely like last year for Donegal for us was better, and this year like the buzz is just it wasn't.
You got into the top 16 this year.
Oh yeah, that was the highlight. But in general, like just the crack in the evening and stuff, it wasn't as much crack. Do you know what I mean?
But over there, like I said, as compared to that, over there, like we were there for 2 weeks, and every day was better than the day before. Even though we'd done this all,
and you just got to meet.
It didn't matter.
You just meet so many new people. Like we picked up this random ass hitchhiker. So basically, Drift Missouri at Ebisu is on a mountain. It's all uphill, right?
Yeah.
So the tracks start at the bottom, work their way up. So you have to walk. Unless you have a rental car, you need to walk between the tracks. Seeing this poor guy walking up, pulled in, and got in, reek a drink off him.
My man.
Yeah. So straight away knew he was Irish. And I was like, where are you from? He was like, Limerick. I was like,
of course you are.
Of course you are.
He was living in Australia though, but
he was after
from
flying
Limerick.
in from Brisbane.
Yeah.
Oh right.
He was in Australia.
Oh, he was after going into this little Japanese bar to meeting these lads doing shots all night. He was absolutely dying. But he bought a JZX 90 600 brake horsepower night rider actually after buying it. That's the one that they bought.
Yes.
There you go.
So
but he'd literally been like to us.
Eric is his name,
So we were bringing him up and we were like, oh, what's the crack? And he's like, I'm after buying this drift car over here. I don't even know where to find it or anything. Like, and we were like, he was just banging a drink off.
He just didn't care. Then he's like to me, do you want to drive it? And I was like, yes, I want to drive it. Of course I do.
I've never met a man to just not.
I've never been nighttime drifting. Like, well, sorry, no, I've been nighttime drifting. I never. That was my first. What I was meant to say is like I've never. Like that was my first time ever driving in Ebisu. The daytime was the first time, but like it was my first time even kind of really seeing what it was like at nighttime.
Yeah.
And there is no lighting at the back of that track.
And
I was driving this car with just one parking light.
There's not like these cars had no lights on them. And the only thing you had to have was tail lights, so people behind you could see you.
You're braking. So I was coming up over the hill, third gear, and this turbo was massive, and I was just kicking the clutch.
The car was really hard to drive.
Yeah, so I was kicking the clutch, nothing, and then by God, when this turbo kicked in, I was just coming hard. It was so scary. I don't usually get freaked out, but I think that I never get intimidated. And I pulled in, I said to Conor, I said, fuck that. I was like, no way.
Like two laps, like, nope.
Yeah, no. It was crazy. There was cars coming out, just all piling up on top of each other, ramping up on top of each other. Do you know what I mean? There's one car that was a monster truck. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And it's like, no one's like watching. It's like, you think all these boys are driving like absolute, like, it's like seeing a lot of lads in a slab with a Lexus slapping them, they don't care, but these are like actual proper cars, and you're like, what are they doing?
But what we noticed that night is, right, there's a lot of lads out they're just having the fucking crack, and just they're out hitting off each other, like driving their cars for sport. And then there's a friend of ours that we met over there, this little skinny software engineer, just the most nerdiest looking fella I've ever seen. He was so cool and such a good driver. He's in this chaser, and he was just doing these fucking just these mad entries all night. And then he was doing 360 entries. This was Fuzzy Rumpus.
That was what he called himself.
Fuzzy Rumpus is what we call him. But he's such a cool guy. But then he was in this train coming down, done a 360 entry, which the fucking car behind him hit him, and then these lads just were like so sour. I think they were American.
Yeah, they weren't happy.
They were just like, and I couldn't understand. I was like, how can you be getting angry when there's cars out there just ramping each other?
Yeah.
I was like, what do you think is
your
going on?
Your man had hit into him, so it's not like he crashed. It's not like our mate crashed into your man. Your man, he spun out and then he crashed into him, and he was going, but sure, why were you so close to him?
That was the only kind of bit of bad blood I'd seen all weekend. But now if that was Ireland, as soon as you tip off a car here, lads just want to get out of the car and kill each other.
Yeah.
Everyone's fighting, but over there, just lads just ramping each other.
Bar that one time, like we said.
That was the only kind of bit of badness we've seen. But I think it's the Aussie lads are really laid back. Like we met more Aussie lads than that. There's a video we put up, a reel, it actually went really viral. It's this chaser coming down in the rain, and he goes and he does like a backy, but slides into the pile, but comes out, and he's out the window, and he's with the finger whacking it off the limiter. And we were just we were cheering him on, and Bowen is his name, and we ended up actually getting friends with him. He pulled in after that, and then we were just chilling with those lads the weekend, and we're still in contact with him now. Like,
that's class.
So we made some friends over there. And
honestly, I seen when I seen you right there, I was just like, those bastards. I was so jealous.
You are going to go at some stage, are you?
I would love to,
you should definitely. Now, I do recommend, right?
Buy our merch and we'll money to go.
I recommend going when we did in April, because it's fucking hot. So
you wouldn't recommend going?
No, I do, and that's when it's hottest.
In spring, when it's just getting up there.
Spring, I think it's just perfect, but
it's like 25, 26
and
degrees.
You're there for cherry blossom season as well.
It's beautiful over there.
So that's that's pretty cool. But apparently, like, the winter is real winter. You're up there in the snow. So I couldn't imagine it's not that fun. Like, obviously it's still going to be fun, but it's not going to be like the experience of coming up over the hill and stuff like that. They won't, like, you wouldn't be doing
drive as hard. Like,
you won't be doing all the mad driving, and plus it'd be too, like, 'cause everything is walking up and down through the mountains. So it's just, I think it'd be just real tough in the winter.
I think whenever Dave had the white S14 and he got it at like the Winter Bash, and it was like still all snow.
Yeah.
I think it was the Winter Bash he was at. Maybe it wasn't even Dave.
I think it's the spring, summer and autumn. I think the autumn one starts getting snow, and then they don't do it in winter because of how bad it is. But I think the autumn one is where the weather starts to turn.
Yes.
I say that's what he was at.
How long was over for?
It's just over 2 weeks.
2.5 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
What did you go to any? Like, well,
other than Ebisu, did you go down?
Explain to listeners, like tuning shops, anything like that.
Jeez, we done as much as we could do. Like, I dropped a video there last night. There we went to Daikoku. Yeah, I'll leave Connor say it because I cannot pronounce any names of any players.
Is like the big meet-up spot.
It's that big huge car park.
Under the overpass. That is a light goal.
So if you watch the last video I put up there, you'll see we went there, just walking around, just getting.
That's what, like, all
There's
the rest
some
of them do.
cars,
Dave Egan done it, Night Ride done it.
And then we just met into a lad called Hodges is his name. He's another big I think he's more of an Instagrammer.
He's Australian.
But he's really known in the JZX world.
Yes.
And a friend of ours that was with us as well, just on the off chance, just said, "Hey, do you know there's any street drifting going on?" He said actually one of the lads is going testing his car, the very famous JZX 90, the orange one. So he brought us over to this location. Okay. And I just couldn't believe it. It's like everything I watched on YouTube, as a kid. Just honestly, if you're doing that later, watch the video and just watch the end of it and just wait and see this fella drive. Like, it's crazy.
But we went to, and then we went to obviously all the up garages. We went to Tech Arts.
Did you go to up garage?
Yeah.
We're spending way too much money on upgarage.
Yeah,
So-
we
I
did.
believe though upgarage isn't as good as it used
No.
to be because they now have the store in California or something, and they ship so everything gets shipped to
It's
America.
it depends on which one.
It depends.
Some
We
are better
went,
than others.
I think we went at least 10 up.
Yeah, we did. Some of them are. We went to anyone's. Say when we travelled around, we'd go to whichever were closest. Like some of them, you'd see really cool bits, and then a lot of them is just like they're not as good, but they're definitely worth going to and
I
seeing.
think I
Even just to
spent
see
But people-
seats and steering wheels. And
I spent
Yeah.
easily 300 quid on stickers.
Yeah, stickers. I put them all on
I'm
my
a-
car.
I'm
you do love stickers though.
Yeah.
Camera pans too.
But like it's something about buying like authentic stickers from the places. It's pretty cool.
Definitely.
So like you walk over to like the Blitz section, you buy and you pick like every section in like the up garages and tuner shops will have like stickers on like go over to the teen section, teen stickers. So it was pretty cool. And then the big one for me was Tech Arts.
That was pretty cool.
Being
yeah.
a twin cam man, Tech Arts was just absolutely incredible. Like I've just never seen it like it. Like like the shop that's world famous for building twin cams, and how I could have a whole conversation with a fella in a different language.
Oh yeah,
And
using
his
Google
English,
Translate.
your man had no English, but we were just like because all the parts are still the same name, so we were able to talk about the cars, but without knowing what each other was saying.
You use Google Translate at the end though.
Yeah, for
Just
like
for normal
any
conversation.
any big questions, but like anything to do with the car, like it was just cool.
You
like
just pointed.
we just point and we were able to like say
HKS or
whatever, and yeah, it was pretty cool. And they were very open to us, and they brought us around, showed us the cars, like showed us these absolutely ridiculous builds they were doing. It was just absolutely amazing. But we're definitely. Think the plan now is Connor's heading away to Australia in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
So Connor's heading off, just ditching me.
I was actually going to ask.
Yeah,
where,
so I was actually going to ask you, can I join your podcast? Because I want to.
Fitzfab is no more.
Yeah, well, don't really have anything else to do when Connor's gone.
So that's what actually I was going to say. What is next for Fitzfab? But clearly it's now dead.
It's dead, it's gone. Yeah, so we're selling Fitzfab if anyone's interested. No, the plan is now.
I'm only going for like 6 months.
Yeah,
so.
the plan is I need a break from, so we're sending them off for 6 months. No, I'm going to push a bit more on the content now. It's going to be a bit slow because of the fact I'm after taking this big job in Cork. But
Why not include that in your socials? Like,
Actually,
I
really
can't
include,
because
like,
if there's
it's
any
on a
aids and
building
stuff like
site.
that.
it's on a building site. Like,
Yeah.
hey
Oh,
guys,
okay,
what's
yeah.
going on? We're back today on the building
I
site.
thought maybe you were going to weld here. I thought maybe they were
No,
shipping the parts.
everything is
no.
down there. So what I'm going to try to do is just try to get like maybe clips of what I'm doing, but it might be more scattered. I'm going to try. I need to push. No, I do have lots of. I don't even have my Donegal video up yet. I'm so behind. I need to kind of push. So I have enough content to maybe get up a couple of videos, and then I might just do a video about Japan. Like there's a lot of videos I didn't put up, just random ones and stuff.
We really wanted to do a video. Okay, so you see all these big guys going to Japan. We wanted to do a video and sit down and talk.
I think we actually still will do that video.
Yeah.
You should
I
do
think
like a
about-
podcast.
basically, yeah. So yeah, I want to just do it. Sit down and talk for you. It's basically a podcast of just a breakdown of
What you
as
need to
much
do.
information as we can give you about Japan. Just so, like we had our friend Connor, which made our trip so much easier.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice that someone like even with the twin cams, like I done a full step-by-step video on how to put an ICE 200 gearbox in a twin cam.
Yes.
And
Something like
which
that for
yeah,
Japan.
and it's and that video is really popular and people from all over the world are using it because if you go onto YouTube, look up, it's the only video on YouTube that
How
will
did
give
you
you.
even come to do that?
Sure, it's
Flexi
just
brake.
drinking pints.
Surely it's
No,
not
it's,
Lexi brake
um,
adapter, probably. is
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It's a Lexi brake.
Myself and Dave from Lexi Brake. So I actually designed the gearbox mount.
Yes.
So it's a Fitzfab gearbox mount and then Dave Lexi Brake adapter. No, so basically, yeah, the plan now is I'm going to just get this job done. Now I have a deal done on a new car, but I'm not going to say
You're
it.
gonna have to hold it.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to. Basically, I have a deposit on a new car. Won't get into what it is just in case that falls through because I had a deal on another car that fell through. So you know the way these cars work. So hopefully, if that works out, then I'll have
Bit more content.
a bit more content than the
You
180.
still have the S13 as well.
Yeah, so that's going to be the kind of focus for the next couple of weeks. So
Yes.
there's going to be a lot of content on that, which like the channel would have, anyone that is following the channel would see the process of that car the whole way through. So the plan is to get that done next. That's it. We don't really have any more events. I think LZ Fest is the next event.
I'll be at LZ Fest as well.
Yeah, I see that video out last night of all the different things that they plan on doing for it. I don't know if
there's
any
a publicity stunt, like.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
100%
was. It was a bit shit from the two of them. I thought it was a bit shit anyway.
I think they could have done I don't. It's not how I would have done it, but it got us talking.
Yeah, true.
So
that's true.
At the end of the day,
it is always good though. It's the last 2 years up there.
I love LZ.
Oh yes, the event
unreal.
itself. Like we're after meeting some. Like we're the last 2 years we're after ending up in random 2 hotel rooms with just these.
Just lads we met.
First year we ended up chatting with Jimmy Oakes.
Yeah.
In the
We went to
hotel.
the after party.
We
The after party.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
we
we
went there
were
too,
the
yeah.
after party.
well, we went back. We stayed in the Osprey Hotel.
The first year happened to be we
Same
dead
hotels
and didn't realise, but it was we're out all them ones were all staying.
Yeah.
So like,
That's where we were. We didn't stay there, but that's just where we were.
The table beside us.
Yeah.
No, we didn't talk to him.
Yeah,
but
because
he
they're
was
there
the
like,
table beside us.
But we went into Osprey this year. We went down to meet the few lads we know, and we walked in. Adam LZ sitting in the lobby waiting on a fucking Chinese.
Yeah, and I went over and got a picture of him, and I was like, I'm really annoying him now. I don't want to. You can understand.
You could tell he was just sitting there, and he just wanted to just have his own.
Well, Adam's actually quite. I think he's quite socially anxious.
Yeah. Whereas Jimmy will just
Jimmy
Oakes.
talks away.
As
No
what was
worries.
it Kane from Drift Games said about him? Jimmy Oakes would give up doing like a qualifying run to make sure that he didn't offend a fan.
Yeah.
Like,
Literally,
that's the type of him. Well, do you know what I actually, when we're talking about YouTubes, and this is genuinely how I would see you guys, and it's compliment at the highest order. I think you guys are like the equivalent, like the Irish equivalent of Night Ride. You know,
That's a pretty.
it's honestly just when you actually think about it, you know, with the alleged road drifting and like, you know, yous aren't flashy.
The private port road.
Yous are
Yes.
working. Yous are
Yes.
working in this shed. Yeah, look, it's a good setup in here. Like, but you know, you're not buying.
You're very relatable.
Credible tools.
Yes, that's
you know,
what we
it's
kind of like.
Oh, sure. Like even yesterday, I done the charity event yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm after leaving myself absolutely stone broke. Like absolutely, like, I didn't realize how much it was costing me to do the event. I promised Jay I'd do it fucking ages ago, and it just so happened to fall, and I was just after doing a week in hand and work. So then I had to catch up on all my last week bills.
Yes.
And then what tires were 400 and odd quid.
Huh?
Yeah, and then to buy tires, entrance fee. I had to rent the trailer to get my 180SX up there. I had to put diesel in my van to get my van up there. Had to fuel that to drift that for
And
the
that's
day.
a 1 day event.
Yeah.
1 day, so it cost me a fortune, and I'm not even missing. I am absolutely stone broke for the week.
But that's what we like talking, where we'll say that on camera and be like, oh, look, we don't have the money. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's nice to be relatable to someone that's watching it and can actually be like, oh, like,
But like,
But,
Well,
yeah,
like, I won't service my own car because I can't bring myself to spend the money on it.
yeah.
I won't pay someone to service my car because I can't bring myself. It's like everything.
He wouldn't pay the toll on the way to Lincoln yesterday.
Aye,
It's €3.25 or €4.
Fuck
Oh,
that.
and
I was just like,
I
had to pay it this morning because it was too wet. Miserable.
we like
you go the long way through town instead.
yeah, we genuinely did.
Fuck that.
But see, in general, like I do stuff. I try to do the same as you guys. I try to do stuff myself, even in the farm corner. And
Yeah.
you can relate to us as well.
He ends up spending more because he has to do stuff himself.
in the long run, but it's always a good idea at the start.
Well, no, like I'm building a big set of gates there at the minute, like if I was to pay someone to do them gates for me,
Yeah.
it would be thousands. It's probably
Yeah.
going to cost me £1,500 all in to
Yeah, but
build
there's
all
one
these
thing
gates.
building a gate and there's another thing engine swapping a car that the car's never had an engine like that before.
Well, the only thing is, look, it's great. It's nice doing it yourself, and I know sometimes you're like, oh, I'll do this for way cheaper, and in the long run, you're like, I wish I paid someone. But it's nice when it's done, knowing, all right, at least I've done it myself.
But the thing is, the knowledge gain. Like for instance, whenever I'd done the engine swap in my car, I couldn't get it to work.
Yeah.
And I had to go to Ali McClelland, and I had it running. I couldn't get the gearbox to work.
Yeah.
But I had it up and running. And I'd done it myself.
Yeah.
And then Ali was like, "You can tell this has been done by someone who's never swapped an engine before. And I was like, is that a compliment or a bad thing? He goes, he's like, I've seen worse by people who have done this. He goes, but look, he goes,
a few tidied up bits.
I had the engine, I ran a front bowl sump because I was thinking a shorter oil run, and basically I had the engine sitting really far forward and had a big massive gap between the back of the head and, you know, the
firewall,
the tunnel, like that was like the bulkhead. And I was just like, you know, I moved the whole thing back 6 inches. If I was doing it again now, I would know exactly where to start. Wiring, I had it wired up and running, but the wiring techniques I'd used were shocking. Yeah. But I got the ECU not going myself. Yeah. You know, so
the only thing is, it's the only way you learn. It's exactly the only way you learn. Like, I'm sure everyone can look back on their car and be like, "Oh, I should have done this from the start."
I reckon there's £7,000 or £8,000 worth of mistakes in my car. In my Sierra.
Yeah, but it's, in the long run, you know, from doing, if you're ever building another car, like, I know it's not the exact same, but you know, like, in future, right, ask this guy this or find out a bit more about this, and you learn. You don't make the same. They're expensive mistakes, but that's how you learn. Everyone's made those mistakes to...
And I think everybody thinks when they've spent a lot of money in their car, they all think, oh, why is this happening to me? I've put X amount of money into my car. Like, I'm the biggest person for going, like, fuck my life. Like, why is this happening? But it literally happens to everybody.
And it makes, I know it's bad, right? It sounds bad, but it makes you feel better when someone else is getting hardship off their car and you're like, right, I'm not the only person. Like with my car, when it shit the bed after spending all this money on all these parts, and everyone telling me it's because you built your own engine, and I was actually just there, like,
you were believing them.
No, but I was like nearly in tears when I was like, I have no money. I what am I going to do? Like, and then in the end, and I was talking to a few lads, and you hear other lads like, oh, this happened, my car, this happened, blah blah blah, and then you're like, all right, look, now I know. Don't go to this person or don't do that, and it's the way you learn. Like,
so I blew up that the first time I put it together. I put the wrong dipstick in. There's 20 valve and 16 valve have literally identical, supercharged 16 valve and 20 valve have all interchangeable dipstick holders, but they're actually all different lengths. So you have to have the right dipstick for the holder. Right?
So his dipstick was too long, wasn't it?
So I put I picked up the wrong dipstick or the wrong holder for it. So when I went in, it was showing that it was full of oil, but there was only there was
only a couple of 100 mil.
Yeah, I think there was
that is a sickener.
So I put her on the dyno and she rattled. So I mean, there was a learning curve for me.
Same again.
A dipstick holder cost me my whole engine.
Yeah.
That's
fucking hell. I mean, it's little things like that.
But you're fairly happy with your car now. It's just you really mapping.
If it was mapped, look, it drives dead on. Like, I still get the good. I have a G25 660 in mine.
Oh, you have the 660,
I have a 660 in mine. What I will say is it spools like fuck. Yeah. And it's not even properly mapped. It's like a dialed back running and map, basically. It means I can drive it. I don't boost it past. I basically don't boost it to if you start hearing the wastegate open.
I'm just always on.
So basically, I've that pulled out, so you don't go by 4K.
Okay.
I did diff it at the quarry one time, and I got a warm ear from Lloyd because he was like, "Look, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, the car's not mapped. That's how fussy Lloyd is.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like, Michael, you could have done this," and he started listing out all the things that possibly could have happened, and he'd analysed my video and went, "When you moved from here to here," bearing in mind, I was like, "Chief, it was a first gear diff." I didn't think. And he's like, no, when you changed direction, he goes, that could have caused this and this. Because he's so smart and so like, he was just like, that could have happened. I was like, I'm sorry, Lloyd, I genuinely didn't know any of that.
Sorry for driving my car. Sorry.
And he was just like, he was like, okay, well, fair enough. Like, you didn't know, but like, don't do that again. And I was just like, okay.
I have the. You have the 660, I have the 550. I'd love to see what the difference is between them. There's hardly that much of a difference really between them. The 660 is probably better up top because that's what Keane said. The one thing with my car, I think mine revs to 7.8, and he said it's good up to like 7, and then she's really choking herself up top. Whereas the 660, I think, would be better.
Mine revs to 7.
110.
110.
Mine revs to 7 too. But what I'm wanting to get now when I go in is I want a hard cut in my car, but Lloyd was very.
No. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, well, an S14s and SR20s, it'll break rocker arms.
Yeah.
And he says in mine, he goes, it could, because I don't have a rocker arm, he says he can drop a valve.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay.
Drop it. That's what I do.
I literally spent nearly $1,000 on Honda for a faster limiter. Literally, that was
Yeah,
the
well,
reason
on
I
a
did it.
K20, it does
that
sound. They
Honda-
take it too, though. They take
Oh,
it.
do you?
A Honda K20
Yeah.
sounds so much better than a
SRs.
standard.
My car is an aggressive limiter, a real fast limiter, but it's still a soft cut limiter. Like it's not. SRs do not like hard limiters.
See, because I don't have rocker arms and stiffened valve springs, I was like, well, maybe I could chance it. I don't hit the limiter that often.
See, I do hit the limiter that often, and then I don't really like. I don't mean to sometimes. No one just
Is yours
drifting.
set up like Joshua Grosser's one, where it's like nearly like a soft limiter, so she can't go?
Do you know the black cars in King of the Comb?
Oh,
Like S14?
that got absolute dog's abuse.
Yes.
Do you know the only reason that
Derek,
survived? It's a complete standard car.
Yeah, it had to be. I was looking at this, and even what's your man, Nathan Ellis used to own that
He
car.
had it
didn't
last year and set the tires
see
on fire.
him.
Yeah.
I could see him sitting down in the twin cam. He was just there like this, and your man was up sitting on limiter for a good. He must have been on limiter for a good like 60 seconds.
Joshua
just-
said he was trying to set the tires on fire. He says because Nathan put on such a show on it last year.
How did it blow
Nathan's a pilot as well. Like, and Josh was like, you know, Nathan put on a show last year. He goes, I had to put on a bigger one.
Yeah, only if I don't know. I was looking at that car. I was like, how? Just because it's standard though, it'll take it.
Completely standard.
No, I wouldn't like when I mean I hit limiter. Like I'll be in second gear of a drifting. I'll leave, or if I'm coming out of like a fishtail or something, I'll leave her sitting limiter for like 5 seconds. But I won't. No, I would not do anything like that now.
You're
no
not
way.
Dwayne McKeever, like.
No,
Kevin
no,
Kwan.
because it's just
Just gotta wait and you hear my 180 when it's finished.
you have an RB. It's slightly different.
I'm going to absolutely sit on limiter.
Do you have the oil return from the back of the head down in the sump?
Me, fuck all. I have an engine built.
No, it's sitting over there on an engine stand.
Sitting over there.
okay,
Just
fair
chilling
enough.
over there.
I was going to say, like, that's the number one thing.
Yeah,
you
with
do
RBs.
Yeah.
Put the wee reducer in so it doesn't have the problems of oil, and I think it's passing 5 and 6. And
Yeah.
the return from the back of the head
I'll look into it.
kills them.
How did you? Wait, what gearbox are you running now?
E36 M3.
What clutch setup then?
I have a flywheel out of a Saab B235R because it's 240mm, which is the exact same size as a BMW clutch.
Right.
So I'm running a 6-paddle clutch.
Okay.
I converted my Sierra to a hydraulic clutch,
Okay.
and then what you had to do was basically whenever I first put it together, when you hit the clutch, the pivot was too far back,
Okay.
and
It wasn't disengaging.
basically,
was it?
yeah, if you like hit the clutch, it would basically have been full angle.
Yeah.
The release bearing wasn't actually getting any pressure in the pressure
Okay.
plate, and I have like an upgraded pressure plate in mine as well. So I ended up having to I have a threaded bar going through mine, where you can basically adjust it. I have a threaded bar going through, which
Keeps
basically
coming down.
adjusted the pivot point,
Okay.
and then
Whiskey dick of
basically
the night.
where on the other
Just gonna hold
side
it.
where you put the slave cylinder in, the rod has been extended as well, about 3 inches there, so
Okay.
it can push out.
And did you just learn all this from mistakes, or did someone tell you should do this?
It ended up being Ali because I couldn't figure out
Yeah.
why, and then a couple of people had said you don't have enough through, and then they were like you should start measuring. I was like,
Well, that's how I blew the original. I'm running RB25 gearbox in mine, obviously, because SR gearboxes are shit. With
it's the
that
same
power.
gearbox though, is it not? As a S15, I think it's the same gearbox as a Lexus. It's a 160. It's an S160 box. It's the same engine. I think. Same
The
gearbox
6
as
speeds
a.
are slightly different. The 6
Oh,
speeds.
okay.
So I just had a 5-speed in mine, but I went to an
Oh,
RB
okay, yeah,
gearbox. The RB25 are much bigger, but I was using the adapter kit I got a couple of different pieces off different lads, but I was meant to use an SR. I was using an SR clutch, but I accidentally used the RB release bearing, which is slightly narrower than an SR. So the car would change gear fine when you're driving normally, but when you're hammering it, you could not bang second gear at no matter what, would not go in. So eventually, this is actually when the car was blowing white smoke and the head gasket gone. I was real thick anyways, that I was like, right, fuck it now, something's wrong with the car. So I was doing a blast of rings and I was real thick. I was like, fuck this car now, and I just banged second and just blew the gear. blew second and fourth out of it because pure ignorance. But it was only when I took out the gearbox I was like,
And it's something
that release
small,
bearing
and it's
doesn't
a
look
release
right.
bearing,
And then
which is nothing.
Yeah, and then I put in, obviously I had to get the gearbox rebuilt, put back in the release berm. That was grand. Went out the road, done a pull in the car, diff lock solid, which then blew my new rebuilt gearbox, blew third gear out of that again, like literally 5 miles up the road. So now I'm driving around with no third gear. I drove the whole way to Donegal. I drove all this summer with no third gear because I just too stubborn to take that gearbox back out and rebuild it again.
That is disgusting.
Yeah.
That's absolutely disgusting.
So when I come back from Australia now, I'm like, right, I'm going to get a gearbox, and this time my diff is done. I have the right release bearing, so hopefully third time's lucky.
Put a 350 Z box.
I was going to. The only reason I don't want to is
there's so much money now.
Well,
and it's a concentric sleeve.
No, they hang below the frame rails on an S14.
Oh, okay.
And sure, I'm living out in the middle of nowhere.
If I had to give anyone any advice, and Connor doesn't normally like me giving advice because he says just don't take it.
Well, whenever you hear somebody has had £7,000 worth of fuck ups in their car, would you listen to them?
He might know a thing after 7.
Someone has to make them.
Yes. Yeah.
I have like a homebrew sort of adapter in my car.
Okay.
For between the engine and the gearbox. It is a bit rash, and it sort of works. If I was doing it again, I'd splash the money and buy a PMC adapter.
Yeah, they do look the job.
They are the job. PMC actually wrote to me whenever I got mine. They followed me on Insta and wrote to me and was like, oh, see Fitzfab engine, what gearbox are you running? And I was like, oh, BMW M3. And they're like, oh, would you be happy to put that on our website? We assume you're using one of our kits. And I was like, actually, no, I'm not. And then just no reply. I was like, I can show you the messages. Like, and I was just like, I might have offended them. But like, then I know another fella who has an RB M3.
Okay.
The fella.
Is that the blue one?
Yes,
it?
Yeah, it was built literally just Ali McLeod built that just before my car went on. So that was Mark Rankins. He got a PMC adapter, and it was it was the RB25 to E46 M3 6-speed.
Yeah.
Literally just the whole thing bolted together, worked as nice as you like. Whereas me sitting in a shed going, why will you not work? Why is my slave cylinder not working here? And ended up popping, was trying to bleed the clutch that much, ended up popping the rod out the slave cylinder, and
just hardship. That is one of the cases where it's like I should have spent the money, and
I do often wonder.
They are a lot of money though.
To be fair, Michael's the type of person that he has the notion for an engine swap, but then he sees a set of wheels, so then he builds a set of wheels, then he puts them in the car, but then the car's not low enough, so then he sees hydraulics, so then another year later he has hydraulics from like VW and basically made hydraulics.
Yeah, I ran VW hydraulic suspension in my Sierra.
Oh my
so
God.
the car's
was like
stanced
100 brake
with no engine.
Shit. So going down the road, you put the foot down, she just literally would. There's no mechanical grip whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
For me, if I'm getting any work done, I'd like to be able to drive the car home.
Yeah.
To be fair, I've done like 30,000 mile in my Type R.
Really?
So I done the Wild Atlantic Way in 2021. So down Cork. Well, I actually started here, drove over to Lismore and that, and then over to Middleton and down Skibbereen and all that. So Cork, Kerry, and then up Fowler Ted's house on the way home. And then she wouldn't start.
She wouldn't start.
But that was only fault I had on her.
Yeah.
And she took limiter and the whole.
It is just a Honda. I always said I'd love to put a Honda engine in a twin cam, like a K20 or K24 or a K70. I just think it'd be unreal.
A K20 engine twin cam would be class.
It would.
Although, to be honest, if I had one of these, like one of the same as yours, Seamus, I'd have a beams in it.
Like Paddy Marr's one.
Love the beams in it.
Yeah.
They
are dead.
They are good, but I just wouldn't suit my driving.
Why?
It wouldn't last.
I
don't think they would last.
Mine was my Altezza lived on the limiter, and as long as you fed it oil.
Yeah,
the thing is,
I know they're a real hit and miss engine. That's the same.
Do.
Like mine,
you get a good one and you get a bad one.
Yeah, like I had a good one as well, but then again, like I know, like one outside the door there, previous friend of mine had a, and he had best time of his life in that car, and now the new owner seems to be something wrong with the whole time.
But the Altezza off me, he needed to do the head.
It is usually the head.
I
just don't see what more beams could give me than what I have.
Well, 20 valve and the beams are fairly
old, but if I just start my canvas, I go for a beams.
It's cool though. It's a small
just
bit
the beams
different.
going into the booter behind me Monday.
Oh, that's what's going on. That's a beams is going on.
That's the Flows built one. That
I
is.
just think the engine costs like 11 grand or something.
But the Flow has built that, and it is just not like all.
Yeah.
But they are the.
Yeah.
So I have to try and make the engine bay look kind of
Nice to stick the engine.
fairly nice to put the engine into.
I think then maybe that's maybe a hint that we should get the fuck out of here and let you get back.
No, I was kind of hinting more at any spraying or
anyone any good at painting?
you
No.
looking for Nixer for the evening.
You have you're not too far of a drive now.
No, we're heading to West Cork, so over Denniskeen to go and hopefully we were told we could be on the precision shop.
Are you going to draw grass? Or are you
That
going
was
on the hard
that's
stuff?
what we were told. If we could end up getting roped into covering a pit, I'm going to be fucking raging.
Yeah.
Boys, do you want to promote the socials here?
As in our socials, or
I touch on about farmers again. See, I can't. I
zones
zone out when you start
Literally
talking.
just was like the,
Yeah, when you start talking about fucking, I was like, nah, I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm told I'm still learning all this. I think I goes on to his farm. I tell people I'm on Connor's farm, but I'm actually at the shed at his house. But
Nowhere
like,
near.
there's a cow in the field next door, so I'm basically still on the farm.
What's next for?
For the twin cam,
Yes.
what's next for that poor car is 86 West. Yeah, no, 86 West. Another thing I noticed yesterday was the battery light kept flashing on.
yeah, heard that.
Don't know why. The alternator is brand new. I'm hoping it's just like a loose wire or something. So I should really give it a check over. 86 Fest in a couple of weeks, September or something.
1st.
and then surely then a rebuild.
Surely we might rebuild it over the winter.
Probably rings maybe. And just,
I was going to say.
Yeah, I'd
It's
say.
not-
Piston rings have nothing
yeah.
else.
Yeah, I'd say no. When I say build, now that's probably all I'll do.
Piston rings and
Give
head
her-
gasket.
Yeah, rings, head gasket, probably.
Stem seals and all that kind of.
Yeah, just I won't go fuck. I wouldn't go putting.
Make sure you take the old oil out and keep it for the fresh engine.
Yeah,
you know.
I wouldn't go putting cams and shit. Like a buddy of mine just went full retard mode on a fucking put pistons in, towed the cams and everything to get an extra.
Well, that is big money.
But to get an
To the
extra like
cams and stuff.
20
What?
horsepower.
That is big
Don't
money.
even talk
Yeah.
to me.
Why?
Well, yeah, that's why he got a fucking
I have
20
exhaust.
horsepower or something.
Intake and thing on, and I've 15 extra horsepower.
Well, you're probably probably about 220 brake or something.
220, yeah.
Yeah. It's just not. It's so safe. Like it'll just take.
Well, I basically live life.
Yeah.
In Lebanon.
My car started off at, she made like 175 or something. First time I got it mapped.
Beefy.
Yeah, so I never done that, but I just came out of rally car, put it straight into that. So obviously, I've still never taken. I'm assuming that someone done something to it. Anyway, if it's going to be, it was in a rally car, run the link ECU and stuff. So I assumed that they probably had something done to it. But yeah, that was pretty sound. And then we put on the dyno, and fucking she done like 135 or something.
She's a bit sick.
So it was feeling a bit sick, but oh yeah, I think
That's
so.
the thing with an NA car. They really do need to hold their compression and all
Yeah.
that. Whereas a turbo car, just more boost.
Force
more
it into
boost. Yeah, more boost.
Add a stiffer spring.
Yeah.
So, do you want to then promote your own socials?
As in
The
sorry.
YouTube.
Yeah. Fuck. Sorry. I just I keep zoned out there again.
Fab.
It's hard.
Fitzfab.
Fitzfab.
So, what can we follow you on?
Right.
Well, I mean, I already follow you anyway, but you know,
sound.
You should watch your back.
follow you home as
So
well.
yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram. YouTube is a big one. If you can subscribe, we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know we've been very slow on the posting lately, but
Yeah.
we will sort that out. Yeah, that's kind of it.
It's
Really,
just YouTube and
kinda
Instagram, really,
YouTube and Instagram. Really, Instagram is more of if you want to kind of just see like
Real.
just
Kinda.
it's more kind of posts and
We're posts
We're-
as well. Instagram for
Yeah.
us is just like posts of
Yeah.
doing stupid
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
posts and the odd reel and stuff. But no, YouTube. If anyone wants to support us, jump onto
Really appreciate it.
the YouTube. We have a merch store as well. If you want to buy a hoodie, do it. If you don't, you might as well unsubscribe and stop watching.
Buy a hoodie or your parents are going to die.
yeah. Sorry, subscribe or all your family's gonna die.
So,
Michael.
Here's the question, Connor.
What
Because
is the
we've done this, because we recorded that with them 5 weeks ago, how much of that conversation do you actually remember? See, this is I suppose this is what whenever because I do about the editing, like it's
You do a bit of the editing. No, you do all of the editing.
anyway. I get to hear the conversations back, so I have an idea of what they've talked about. You probably won't remember any of this until I send you the basically the version before it goes up, and I send it across to you to listen. whether you even listen to that is up to debate.
Hello on.
Anyway,
I listen to it all.
we're probably still not a far kick in the arse off 3 years at this point, so I have a few things I went through. See, to be honest, in the last week, just with trying to get that Sarah ready, and given what's happened at the weekend, I have been incredibly unresponsive. So,
see, you know the way we nearly do 3 years every time.
aye,
We totally make up for not doing one every week.
aye. That's the way I was thinking it. You know, you basically get 2 podcasts worth.
Surprised you haven't fixed your hair that many times, innit?
I know, but it's too cold. But as I was saying, like fuck, you interrupted me and I ruined my thought path. But yeah,
Your path of thought.
we'll bring it into the big old skids one wheel peel section.
Hey, just before you actually do say any more,
Oh.
I couldn't get over it, right? So, Porrick Leonard is obviously now working the Monk and Son.
Yeah,
He's re-listening to all of our stuff.
I did.
And he says he's done it a couple of times.
Aye, sure. Even last year, even before he went away, he was telling me he'd listened to it, and like that was on like episode 9, what Field Hoovering or whatever you call that one. He'd listened, and I was like, "Are you like?" Because the idea was we were actually supposed to get Porrig on, but just the way the timings worked, I was down visiting him actually when he was home, but
And he was meant to come along on a
he
road
was
trip.
actually supposed to come to Ahio with us.
The way things worked out, he couldn't come.
He
to
couldn't
Ahio.
come. Do you know what? He'd have been a welcome guest. He'd have loved it. But I wanted him up here, and I was originally going to call him the man addicted to podcasts, because I thought it was like, because he was saying, "Oh, I've listened to it a lot of times," and he was like, "No," he's like, "It's just using the 2 Johnnies." I was like, "Really?" I was like, "I just assumed you were like a serial podcaster," and he was like, "No." So he just said, he goes, "It's relatable, like."
Fair enough. No,
And
no,
I was like,
no.
"Oh,
I was saying it's. I can't actually mind what I said to him, but it was something along the lines of. It's quite a compliment.
Well,
to be
I would
honest.
say the next 10 podcasts, well, like the last 5 and the next 5 after this, or next 4 after this, is probably the equivalent to the first 30, just because they're all now 3 years long. Like the first few podcasts, like we weren't really over 2 hours for a long time.
No, it's what's funny is I looked back at the first one through analytics, and it was like an hour and 50 minutes long. And to think back then, we were like, better not have it any longer than that. Nobody wanted to listen to us for any longer than that. That's fair enough if people do.
Sure, Art of the Felt, second one was it was 2 main topics.
Will we ever revisit any of them?
Oh, absolutely. We will revisit Feldspec for, I think it was maybe 8 months ago, you threw out a couple of real good ideas for Feldspec, revisit it.
That's right,
and it was quite funny, like, so, yeah, absolutely, 100% we'll be revisiting Feldspec. It's just, if we were to revisit it every 5 weeks, it wouldn't be much of a podcast, like, especially now with the new merch and all hopefully coming out soon.
And it's funny how Feldspec has never died. It's only getting bigger.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's all kind of seen as old school now. Like, you take it like, 306s, Zara's, E36 BMs and Motorsports, Sierras and Escort
If you
Cosworth
could
wheels.
have a proper Feldspec car now, what would you take?
Still a 405. And if you ask me this next year, I will still tell you a 405.
I'd love HEM.
I think it's fucking class, to be
That is
fair.
fucking
She's
class.
deadly. Well, that HEM is kind of what
Do you wanna know something,
was
right?
kind of one of the main inspirations behind the new merch coming out. Like,
Before we go any further, I just want to. This happened to me probably last week. So I went to bed.
really?
I know, mad.
Wow.
And when I was in
be
bed,
thankful you have a bed, to be fair.
well, that's it. Went to bed and I had a dream.
Yeah, okay.
It happens.
It happens,
Do you
yeah.
know the way mostly people don't remember what they dream about? I tend to remember most of the time
I
what
would,
I do dream about.
remember. I'd say I'd remember 70% of my dreams.
And in the dream, I done a deal for a grey Mark IV with 32 front bumper. Basically, what I've described in the pod that I would like to own.
Maybe you've said red, have you not, in the past?
Well, grey is now the go-to colour for me.
Aye, grey's class in them too.
Um,
Like Lee McGill's old Do you remember Lee McGill's?
Yes. Basically that 32 front bumper, Alford's and all right. No, it had actually beaches on it.
That's what Lee McGill's had. It was long beaches at the time.
But it had long beaches on before long beaches were properly a thing.
Yeah.
Because long beaches
he had long beaches never had the long beaches.
Long beaches are now like Vulcans and 306 and the Mark IV.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And then you get the 15-inch versions, which they've started calling short beaches.
Yes. My polo actually was put in short beaches for a long time. Even though I gave... Anyway, so... yes, I had this dream. And I don't know what fucking map was in this car in this dream. But every time I put the foot down, day turned to night.
And I bet you at the time this seemed completely logical.
In the dream, I was aware that I was in a dream. And I was like, that's fucking deadly. Pity I have to fucking wake up in a couple of hours. Because I knew, right, like, you know.
Oh, you were lucid dreaming?
I was like, this is unreal, this is deadly. Kept on revving. I was like, this is borderline too Ricky. Because, you know, PSNA or the guards, if they see us. Because I was driving from Limavady to Derry for some reason. You know, the roundabouts with the dual carriageways and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's fucking deadly. Look at the reek out the back of it. Then fucking woke up. It was shite. And then I was just like...
It's very funny.
Just like,
and then
why?
you went, ah.
I think it was around the time I was talking to Porrick about his 150.
Yeah, his black one.
Like, like 2 cars three cars I would actually love to own, and I think they're nearly gone timeless, is the likes of Hitchy
yep,
a Mark IV like that, and a white Chaser.
Yeah. Aye.
You could probably own them at any age now.
Yeah.
You know,
Still
but like, I'm that Mark IV. Like, why did I wake up? Obviously, I'm glad I woke up, but why did I wake up?
So moving on then till some of the big old skids and one-wheel pills.
Which I have none of, as usual.
Yeah, well...
that was a big old skid, but that was a one-wheel pill because I fucking woke up.
The only one-wheel pill I have has been referred to as a Wish.com version of Dave Egan.
Or most formerly known as Timu, Dave Egan.
Do you know what? It's also... There's a compliment in there somewhere, I think. I'm not quite sure what to do with my hands.
During that whole video, it was like... I was like...
Someone's just going to Photoshop me in, like, standing in front of an airplane or something.
No, you know what I think...
Patrick Leonard's going to do it, or Porrick Leonard's going to do it, like...
No, you know what happened? You went to the BRM tractor pull and you got too happy with your arms.
That's what it was.
And then you just forgot that you aren't actually starting anybody off anymore.
Waving flags, flat out, just... my phone's...
But it is mad, like, your arms don't stop.
No, but...
Fuck step counters. You need an arm counter.
But it's because it helps me...
How does it feel to have your arms in your pockets, or are you purposely putting your hands in your pockets to keep your arms
No, it's because I'm sitting here, it stops me from moving about and jittering. But whenever I'm trying to talk in front of camera, believe it or not, me waving my arms about slows me down.
Now, I'm surprised you do a thing right whenever you're having a conversation. I'm laughing because, like, we all keep you going about it. So, one arm is in the pocket.
I'm not quite sure what to do with it.
No, it's not even that. And, like, your elbow goes like fuck because it's like you're twitching mid-conversation, and then you do a wee heel tap. So you stand there with doing this here with one arm, and then you fucking tap a heel all the time.
It's just pure farmer, like.
I don't do that. I'm more of a farmer than you are.
It's pure farmer.
But for some reason, you do like a wee heel tap. It's like you're trying to Irish dance, and
it's probably trying to keep pace. Genuinely, that's why. But as I say, that's why I do my hands like the way I'm doing now. Like that's why I do all the hand movements, because like a fucking conduct.
Well, why are you not good at jiving then? Because jiving, you use your arms to keep the beat.
I would have been good.
You'd end up maybe hitting the door or something.
I know, because I was like, I know I have rhythm. Obviously, I'm a musician. Like, I have rhythm. Jiving just never really took to. I probably need to go back to Matthew Sloan again and just go, hey boy, you couldn't maybe give me a few more. I kept you
right on the pull. You keep me right.
I need to go back to Matthew Sloan again, probably. We just cut mid-cut podcast to try and do a couple of jiving moves. The boom is back. Start the mixer.
Michael, that's the bad woman at jiving. It turns out his hand movements
actually aren't too bad.
Yes, I did hit him with me. But then again, normally, like, you'd be jiving with a woman, and she's normally smaller than you. and I don't clean her head.
And you don't clean the head.
No, but that's why, because they'd be shorter.
And then come round, I was doing a spin thing, and the next thing whacked by Connor's elbow, and I was like, oh, okay.
Like, it's the only time you ever use them skill set is wedding.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Even Becca's now, like, kind of
sort of tortured.
But sure, a wedding, like, even now, on the dance floor, I'm screaming at Becca, going, right, spin, catch, 2 hands, one hand.
And they always spin underneath their arm.
Yes.
So clockwise.
Yes. Always going under. Or you do the one where you
move.
flick them out and I was like, spin the direction of what your arm's throwing them.
You'll be double jiving people in no time.
Oh, Jesus, I could barely handle one person, let alone two, but...
Anyway, so Michael's Dirt of the Week. You can't jive. Is your to next week. I've learned how to jive.
And suddenly we've become the two Johnny's podcast. Thank you, Connor.
Fuck. Meant to say one way to make it skip.
We're going to get fucking sued here.
First of all, it'll be Drift Games. We're taking the piss with Diff Games. And next thing, it's the two Mickeys here.
To be fair, the Mickey and Connor podcast does sound wild culture like.
Why don't we not just call it a fucking culture pod?
I agree, Automotive kinda is exactly what it says in the tin.
Well, I came up with that name as well.
Exactly.
I am the maker of ideas.
Connor's the creative director.
That does nothing else.
Comes up with ideas and I go, fuck, I never thought of that, that's a good idea. and that's that.
And then I never remember them, so I write them down, then I have to read them off my phone.
Anyway, for like the 8th time, the big old skids and one wheel piles. So
For which I have none.
I'm going to shout these out at you. So I got this.
You're going to shout them out at me. I would rather you tell me.
If I didn't get sent this once, I get sent this about 5 or 6 times. It was the Defender.
You know what's actually, just before you say it anymore,
we're going off tangent again.
It's now got to the stage where people know they're messaging you.
Yeah.
They message the page.
Yeah.
So we don't get a message at a stage.
I know like, this is going to be Mike. I think it was Thomas McBride. I know this is going to be Michael replying, and I was just like, "You're correct."
I nearly felt like replying for the
Go fuck you.
But then I was like, no, because I did open a message at a time to nosy.
Yes.
Because I was feeling nosy at the time. And then you didn't get the message because the notification, it looked like if it was red.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Defender, yes.
The Defender, the LS3, Av and the Crack, they were at Retrostock.
That's what that was
Yeah.
then. I just seen a Defender drifting and I was like, what the fuck?
LS3 with a transit rear axle. BMW E36 front end and
yes,
coilovers.
with BC racing coilovers in the front, and it was all reinforced. This is all
We
just watched
a quick video on how it built, but fuck.
How to build a drift Land Rover in 60 seconds.
That's cool as fuck.
And how to get it across to the audience in less.
Hey, the video did exactly what they said they were going to do, to be fair. Adam McCartney sent a couple of ones in. There was did you see the video of the black 1455 at the tractor pole?
Did I?
Yeah.
See, there's the other thing. TikTok, I think I have notifications from turned off on it.
Right.
So Gemma would send me the odd one, and she's like, you never looked at them. And I was like, to be honest with you, I haven't got the notification.
TikTok's really weird. It's not like Instagram where everything's logical. TikTok's not logical.
It was the thing that I kept on, getting like the wee red notification thing on iPhone.
Yes.
I was like, oh, what's this? And it was TikTok Shop.
I see now. TikTok shop, when I go load on the homepage, it takes me to the shop, which I'm not even signed up to. I then have to click into our videos. It's really annoying. They're trying to push me to get on the shop. I don't really want to endorse anything that I've no faith in. That's probably how you make money, but I'm not fucking standing promoting hand sanitizer or whatever the fuck they want me to sell.
You might be like Donkey and say the wee starter pack.
But I haven't seen anything like that come up. There's all the offers and stuff I'm getting is like
hand sanitizer.
It's like weird shit. And I'm just
you're
like, no,
why would I use brake fluid when I could use hand sanitizer?
No,
sorry, not brake fluid, brake
cleaner. Well, brake cleaner's the best of them all. So my boss shitted at me for spraying my hands with brake cleaner and to use my hands as cleaning.
That was very silly of you because that's carcinogenic.
That's what he told me as well. Apparently it's carcinogenic. Oh well, it's great stuff. Sure, so's asbestos.
Have you any other big skids?
Loads.
Oh, Jesus.
Adam McCartney sent me a video of a P100 with a BOA V6 in it drifting from 2005.
Deadly.
Thought that was pretty cool.
That is.
Reese Bruce, I've seen this video going back a long time. Did you ever see the video with the Passat pulling the Heron trailer?
No.
The B5 Passat pulling the Heron silage trailer. Have you never seen that? Oh, that's been floating about for like 5 or 6 years.
Maybe I have seen it, but I can't remember. But definitely can't remember.
There's that. It's like they have it. Like the back of the Passat's completely decked. It's an empty silage trailer, but it's still probably 3.5-4 ton empty. So like it's an 18-foot. Like
I'll be 5.5 ton then.
well, fair play to the old Passat. So
Was it on its arse?
Oh yeah, completely. Like, but your man's flying weight on. Did you ever see the video as well? The Amarok, your man had the low loader in the back of the Amarok, and he goes to turn in the yard, and the loader just pushes the Amarok way out wide. Like,
Didn't see that either.
He nearly clips something else in the yard. Seen that too. Then Darren Finnerty sent me just a message. A whole thing of Archie. Sent me a mental health message, probably just a wee pick me up. So that's appreciated. He also sent me a video of a V6 Cav. Do love Cavaliers, like I'm a big Cavalier man still as well.
I think what we should rename the Big Owl Skids and One Wheel Pele is the Michael Correspondence.
But we just about got we've kind of got a culture behind the Big Old Skid One Wheel Pele now. It's not cringy to say anymore, at least I don't think it's cringy. Maybe the listeners hear it go, oh god, he's saying it again. But I don't think it's too bad. So Casper, my humble colleague, sent me a video from Daikoku. Do you know what Daikoku is? It's the big underground, the big car park in Japan.
I know the one you're on about, yes.
That's called Daikoku. That is, and it was it was a Need for Speed sort of style.
You said that the last podcast.
No, I got sent it again then.
Oh well, then that's fair enough. Yeah.
No, I probably got an normal Daikoku. This one here was literally it was all old school stuff, Max Power style stuff. So Casper sent that to me, and I was like, well, that's actually pretty cool. So neons, PS2s and cars and stuff like that there.
Imagine a PS5 in a car.
You just wouldn't do it.
No, you can do it.
I know you could, but...
No, well, I have a PS Portal, so I can do it.
Oh, well. The 21st century. Isn't life amazing?
True, it is.
So Jake Sayers, we mentioned him in the last podcast, they have a Massey 185 with a Welger Baylor on. Yeah. Well, Donegal man, he asked me could I give his son Aaron a shout out. He sent me a video of Aaron piling. Aaron's 11.
Fair play to Aaron.
On a Baylor. Now, private field, so they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Exactly.
But Aaron was on her, so they're made of tough old stuff there in Donegal. Fair play to them. But that's class. I love seeing old kit like that being used. That's deadly. Likes of that are Dexters or Majors or L35s and stuff. I love seeing that sort of stuff still being used.
I'd be scared at times of seeing it being used.
Well, the wee 35 still gets used around here. Hey, there was one day I was out sowing fertiliser and I was glad I was in the 35 because anything bigger I'd have sunk in the field.
Fair enough.
Wee 35 just floats over the ground William Tully sent me a video of sent it on Instagram, a 180/90 doing the maze. It was like a reverse drive.
Oh.
So it's blowing the maze and it's just a big flame coming out of her.
Deadly.
That's class. And the final one then coming through was Dylan Ward. He wrote to me on TikTok and he says he drives a loading shovel in a quarry and he said it'd be interesting to hear some of my experiences from working in the quarry. So I'll try and keep this brief. I don't work in the quarries really anymore. I used to work for a company called CDE. I never mentioned that whenever I was working for them, but obviously I don't work to them anymore and a few of the listeners are from my old place of work. So I used to work to a company called CDE in Cookstown, and CDE they manufacture sand washing equipment and it was wet processing. So for me, I never really had much experience with crushers or anything like that. For me, it was all recycling, so construction and demolition waste and just natural sand and gravel amongst other things. I ended up all over the world with CDE. Never got to Australia in the end up, unfortunately, but I was in all over Europe. I was in North America, I was in Canada. Never got a chance also to go to Africa either, but I'm sort of half glad about that. Basically, in the end up, I kind of spent a lot of time with recycling, so basically repurposing excavation waste. So, and then basically it ran through our machines, aggressive screening processes, of using a log washer to scrub out clays from stones, water treatment, filter presses, all that there. And that's basically, I was numerous sites all over the world, from Calgary in Canada to Baltimore to Dublin. project managed them, and that's basically where my quarrying lay. 7 years of it. It was a great time, but it's just time to move on. And like,
I got to meet some of your customers at a stage too. That was one of those awkward evenings of my life.
Yes, that's right.
Because
because I was going to say my family, but the guys from Alabama. Well, not maybe mention his name. Just going to mention his name there, but I'll not mention his name. But the best of people, but they don't like Biden.
Not many like Biden, I don't think, at the minute. But no, it was basically it was even I was landing down.
Yeah, you landed down, and my American customers come to visit.
You said, look, if you arrive down at this time, sure, they'll have headed on. They're just driving down. I arrived and they arrived.
Aye. Hey, there
didn't leave till about 12 o'clock that night.
There was some crack, like.
Oh, they were surely.
I know, like, it was a good time, as I say. Just
as you were saying at the time, it was a massive novelty for them to come into a home here and have tea.
Aye, but like, see, the wife, like the customer's wife, she literally said, "This is like a dream come true for me. It's just sitting in an Irish house, just drinking tea." And she's like because her parents were Irish.
Oh, right.
And she was saying, like, so she's first gen American or second gen American, maybe you call them. So she was saying like how it was just for her, this was like an absolute life goal. And then like the customer also has like his father has a wee small farm.
I didn't realise it was a small farm, you see, at the time.
So we were around his farm too, and then whenever they were up here, then they were taking pictures of like, he was like taking pictures of the silo and all the sheds and everything, because he was like, you just do it so differently, because like we do a lot of slurry, everything for them is still, they do a lot of like muck spreading.
Dry bedding.
Dry bedding instead, like, so it's, just a different setup. And I was showing them like the old milking parlour and the way like versus what they have. Like they use a buyer sort of system. Your man's only doing it for like the crack, like just he milks like 6 cows in the morning, then comes down to the quarry. Like it's just a wee
crack.
It's a thing for having the crack. So I know massively enjoyed the quarrying. Like I could talk about it for hours, but so I'm trying to keep it very brief to not exceed this too long. But this has been a kind of a shy of a podcast, Conor. We've had our lows, unfortunately. We've had our highs, and we've had Fitzfab, and we've talked about fucking everything under the sun. So, like
most definitely the start, and I suppose a big message in this podcast. Like we had the absolute crackdown in Waterford with Shamus at the time and with Conor. And everybody to do with Fitzfab were so accommodating. Everybody was class crack.
Yeah.
Seamus was more accommodating, allowing us to go in his simulator.
We got to drive his 86.
We got to drive his 86. First time I ever drove a twin cam.
First time I've ever drove a twin cam too.
And then obviously, with recent events, we were going to record earlier in the week, but at the same time, like it was best to wait till it was. But I think a fitting thing for this here podcast would definitely be to tribute it to the life of Archie.
Yeah, so that's how I was planning on closing this podcast. Actually, it was just a remembrance of Archie. So yeah, it's just going to be a full.
Yeah.
Gone.
So
look, if you want to follow us on any of the socials is at Limit Slip Differences on absolutely everything: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can follow me at Michael Scullin _. You can follow Conor at
Conor.Magoo.
Neither of us are. I would, to be honest, my socials wouldn't be that overly active at the minute because I'm trying to force everything through the podcast. Conor's socials never really started. So
literally, I never post anything, but it's nice to be followed, I suppose. But I suppose to close off this, everybody, in all seriousness though, it is okay not to be okay.
So look after yourselves. Don't be feared to reach out. And this podcast,
and we better see you in the next one.
Yeah, and this podcast is dedicated to the one and only number one, Odhran Archie O'Connor.